And good evening. Welcome to Morton Stadium for day one of the Irish Life Health National Senior Track and Field Championships. I will be with you on commentary for this evening's session. My name is Bashir Hussain. Pat Ryan will also be joining us in a little while. And we've got a full list of events scheduled and a link to live results that can be found by heading over to the Athletics Ireland Facebook or Twitter pages, and the results will be on the live.athleticsIreland.ie/menu.html. That's where the results are. But first up is going to be the 400 metres, and if we look out on the track, we can just see a few people setting up their blocks, getting ready for this. Aligning their blocks, perhaps so they can run in a straight line to accelerate for as long as possible before they lean into that bend. The heat routines tonight are, I think I know what it is, but I'm just checking my script here. Yeah, it's the first two and the two fastest losers that will go through to the final. And we've got about 3 minutes before this first event kicks off. In lane 2, we've got Denise O'Connor from Tramore, Molly Horahan from Dundrum South.
Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Morton Stadium for the Irish Life Health National Senior Championships. We begin on track now shortly with the first of 3 heats in the women's 400 metres. The first 2 will be automatically through to the final, plus the 2 fastest losers. So in the first race, in lane 2, Denise O'Connor of Tramore Athletic Club. In lane 3, Molly Horahan, DST. Lane 4, Nessa Miller, St. Evans. Lane 5, Phil Healy of Bandon, who is the fastest Irish woman this year, over 400 metres. In lane 6, Rachel McCann of North Down. Lane 7, Emer Lynch of Newport. And lane 8, Orla Lear of Monaghan Phoenix.
And hopefully you heard the other commentator saying that, so there'll be no need for me to repeat it. I think we've got about 90 seconds to go before the due-off. There's lots to look forward to tonight. Just to run through the schedule fairly quickly. We've got the 400 metre heats for women to start off. Then we're going to have the 400 metre heats for men following that. It will then be the women's 1500 metre heats followed by the men's 1500 metre heats, taking place at 7:20 and 7:40 respectively. At 8:10, we've got the 400 metre hurdles heats for women, and then at 8:30 we've got the women's 800 metre heats followed by the men's 800 metre heats at 9 o'clock. Should be a great night of athletics and lots of tactical racing.
Athletes have gear in the corner of the back straight. Now we're using all lanes in this 400 metres, so can you please ensure, and indeed preferably if you move your gear outside the railing space.
Okay, we can see Phil Healy there, just limbering up for this heat. And the starter has them ready to roll. Phil Healy's got a PB of 51.5. And hopefully this heat will just be purely routine. And the Olympic qualifying time is 51.35. Good clean start. A lot of them up and running.
So first two are through, and then the two fastest losers from the two heats.
As you've just heard a reminder, first 2 and 2 fastest as they carry that momentum up into the second bend. And really the field is sorting itself out here. And the key athletes are Phil Healy, I think Nessa Millett and Rachel McCann. And it's Nessa Millett chasing down Phil Healy here. Rachel McCann in third as they come through the line in 55.24. So Rachel McCann will be watching the clock as the other two heats take place to see if she qualifies as one of the fastest losers. It's a great event for lactate, as we can see from the body language here. I don't think there's any event that quite fills up with as much lactate as the 400 metres, especially when you get the pacing wrong. I think most times you hit a sea of lactate at some stage, unless you're the winner. Just going to go through this replay, and there we can see Phil Healy looking very controlled there. And in fairness, so too was Nessa Millett in second place. And she's just cruising over that line. And I think those times should be coming up fairly soon. Again, these heats and the organisers have really taken care of the athletes by trying to avoid using those tighter inside lanes. And as many sprinters will know, sometimes you can tweak a hamstring or a calf going around those tight bends, certainly in the acceleration phase. And again, that's why we often say we want to accelerate in a straight line for as long as possible before we start leaning and twisting around that bend. So heat 2, in lane 3 we've got Miriam Daly from Carrick-on-Suir, Claudia Manning from Kilkenny, Kaima Cronin from Lekeely, Grania Monahan from West Muskerry, Daniela Janssen from Finn Valley, and Margaret Mary Grace from Nina Olympic in lanes 3 to 8. Well, tonight it's a good bit cooler than it has been recently. There's a bit of a breeze out there. A light breeze though. You know, it's nothing major. The stadium's been set out an absolute treat, so full credit to the grounds people. They've done a great job, and the few spectators and supporters and coaches that are in here are nicely distanced on that back straight. And it looks like there's around about 68 separate zones where people can support in limited numbers, and that will be certainly the case when the main programme takes place tomorrow, which will have plenty of finals. Some of the highlights will include, well, certainly the 100 metres should be an interesting event tomorrow. Just running through this schedule now, just to double check what we have got.
For the men's 400 metres, could you please report to call roll?
Yeah, tomorrow we can look forward to many finals: the men's 400 metre hurdles, the women's 400 metre hurdles, the 100 metre finals, the women's 400 metre sprint, the men's 400 metre sprint final, and then there's also the 4x100 relay finals as well tomorrow. So plenty to look forward to tomorrow. But getting back to tonight, on the field, just to mention that, we've also got the women's hammer final taking place, the men's hammer, and the women's pole vault. Okay, looking there, we've got number 135, I'm actually looking at the results from Heat 1, but 135 is Miriam Daly. 148 there, we've got Karma Cronin from Lakile. And the results from Heat 1, for those who've just seen that one, Phil Healy was a winner in 55.23 from Nessa Millett in 55.61. And Rachel McCann, she was third in 56.75. And I dare say she'll be watching the results of these next two heats eagerly to find out how she's going to flow along and hopefully make that final two. Okay, that's the whistle, so they're under starters' orders.
Heat 2 on the track, Liam Daly, Stephen Manning, Peter Cronin, Claudia Walsh, Danielle Janssen, and Margaret Mary Boyce.
And they're off. Heat 2, first two and two fastest losers.
Through to tomorrow's final with the two fastest losers from the two races.
And as is often the case, full of energy on the back straight, flowing down there. They've actually got a bit of a headwind there, which they'll be happy about because they've got plenty of energy to fight it in the first part. But really, the race really gets underway on this second bend, and then we start to see key athletes coming through. In this second heat, the fastest in the field is Claudia Manning with 53. And again, it looks like it's between Claudia and Grania Monahan from West Muskerry, and that looks like the order. Makila. And I think that was Quiva Cronin coming third for Lakila. 55.74, so fairly consistent on the times, or the heat winning times, and likewise the distances to second and third, so it will be a close call for those two fastest loser spots looking at that second heat. And again, those lactate legs are definitely there. Perhaps those lactate faces as well, as we can perhaps see. Somebody who just doesn't want to get up off the floor. That's Quiva Cronin, who's finally up on her feet again to start pumping that lactate around the body. Because invariably, if you sit there, that lactate just sits in the body, whereas if you're actually walking around, you're using the muscles to pump away and redistribute the lactate around your body. So quite often, when you're full of lactate, do try to keep moving to flush it out a little bit quicker. Because really, with those people looking towards the final, they want to enhance the recovery as quick as possible. So the sooner they get moving, the sooner they start recovering. And those Heat 2 results are up already. They're very efficient here. It was Claudia Manning from Kilkenny in 55.73, from Grania Monahan, West Muskerry, and Quiva Cronin from Lakila in 56.69. The key numbers that people are interested in. So Heat 1, third place was Rachel McCann in 56.75. So it's close run. The two fastest losers at present going into the final heat are Quiva Cronin and Rachel McCann with 56.69 and 56.75. And I've just seen Pat Ryan join us on the team.
Thanks, Basher. Just after joining in here now. See Cliona Manning just after winning that last heat. Cliona not long back running at all. She missed 2 full years before she ran in Belfast there a few weeks ago. 100th of a second off her PB on that day, and subsequently she smashed it. So Cliona Manning putting down a marker in front of the final tomorrow, hoping to put herself in the frame, possibly to get herself into the position for maybe one of those slots in the Olympic Games.
Yeah, that's one of the great things about the relays, isn't it, Pat, that there's so many more opportunities to make major teams. And we're just looking at the highlights now of Heat 2 here. Can you just talk us through that, Pat, because you'll know these a bit better than me.
Well, Cliona there now moving out nicely. As we said, just back from injury. Moving quite at this stage, she's just thinking about conserving energy, shutting down a little bit and getting home. Lovely flowing stride. They'll be very happy with her down there in Kilkenny now, so fingers crossed for tomorrow.
Yeah, I was just saying about those relay places, you know, they usually take 6 people to the major games, don't they?
Yeah, the relays present a really good opportunity for the Irish athletes, and I think we saw with the mixed relay there in recent weeks, 6 slots there now for people across the male and females. So yeah, I think a lot of people will be looking at towards the 400 metres, possibly with a view to making one of those slots. I'm hearing on the grapevine that Harry Purcell, who had an absolutely stellar year, breakthrough year over 800 metres, indeed he's gone in at number 10, I think on the all-time Irish list, that he's running the 400 metres this weekend with a view towards maybe putting his name in the frame and maybe getting one of those slots. I think one thing that people I suppose need to appreciate there is Tom Barr went over and ran in that relay team and helped secure a place for Ireland, but transpired then that Tom won't be running in that relay team in the Olympics, just the fact that the 400 metre hurdles are scheduled for that day. So a really selfless act by Tom to go over there and put the team in the frame and on the plane really, and that when with no goal for no outcome for himself.
And we've got heat number 3 just about ready to start. Thanks for that, Pat. That's a really good perspective. And like you say, a great team performance by Thomas Barr there. So heat 3, 184 is Charlene Maudsley in lane 5. We've got Claudia Dunbar in lane 2 from Monapians, Sinead Tracy from Crockwell, Catherine McManus, Charlene Maudsley that we've just seen, Kate O'Connell from Lucan, Emer Rowe in lane 7, and lane 8, Arlene Crossan for Finn Valley.
Ketchum Mcmahon and Charlene Maudsley, probably the top seeds in this particular race. Charlene part of that team that got the qualification standard recently for the mixed relay. Ketchum Mcmahon is a long time warrior on the scene here.
Okay, full of energy, bouncing along, flowing along into that gentle breeze on the back straight.
Charlene pushing out ahead there, and Ketchum starting to move through in the centre.
And we've got a comfortable lead here, turning into this bend, coming into the final 120 metres. There's 2 clear leaders here at the moment, but the lactate factor could kick in.
Charlene and Ketchum, as expected, really securing the spots. And Ketchum is always closing quickly.
Is that Sinead finishing fast there? That's a fast time, that. And that will be a nervous wait to get that 3rd place time there.
Ketchum Mcmahon is a really strong runner there. Father-daughter combination there, coached by her dad for many years. I remember watching her winning a heat in the European under-23s some years ago, I think in the 100 hurdles, so moved up to the longer distance, and big breakthrough this year as well. So Ketchum Mcmahon is a real athlete to contend with in the finishing straight. She's someone who never ever gives in and fights to the last.
And if you just look at this finish here, and that's a great head-on shot there. Really nicely controlled there by Charlene Maudsley.
Charlene looks very smooth there, very controlled. Ketchum not under too much distress either now. That'll be an interesting one tomorrow.
That's a strong finish there, and I think she was 2 seconds outside of her best there, Pat, so maybe she had a good bit more under her hat than the others.
Absolutely. I mean, the name of the game tonight now is to get that slot in the final with the minimum fuss, the least possible amount of energy expended, and get ready for tomorrow.
And the magic qualifying time they're looking to beat is 56.75 for that second fastest point. Rachel McCann from North Down Athletics Club currently holds that time. We're just chasing down our results. And our electronic geniuses are right on it. In actual fact, he just walked past us there. Andrew Lynham, of course.
No better man. Just looking at the top there, the national record, Joanne Cudahy set back in 2007 in the Olympic, the World Championships in Dago, I recall. Paddy Fay was her coach at the time. First Irish woman under 51 seconds. So it was a proud moment. Joanne was, if memory serves me correct, she was, I think, 11th or 12th in that particular competition, not far off the final actually.
I think that record's going to go this year, you know, Pat. I think there's at least 2 people in the running for it. I
think it would be a good sign for Irish athletics if that went. With all due respect to Joanne, she had a good innings as record holder, so it would be good. We've had a lot of strong performances this year. Bashir record has been broken and PBs and significantly the top tens in a lot of events have been absolutely peppered this year.
Absolutely, yeah. There's been some outstanding performances, and it's interesting that I think we're all very concerned and worried about the lockdown and the COVID issues, but so many athletes have come out of it incredibly feisty and fit.
I think a lot of people, athletes and coaches, just knuckled down and said, look, we'll make the best of a bad situation, and took the opportunity just to go back and get a really good block of training in. I know from speaking to 1 or 2 coaches that the fact that there was limited competitive opportunities, and in some cases none, it meant that people were able to just put much longer, maybe base building periods than usual, and that has served people really, really well. I mean, we saw that in the indoor season this year, in the middle distance events particularly. I suppose, okay, indoor season you're only going to get some of the shorter events, but I mean, on the women's side and on the male side too, the 800 metres was actually really, really strong and a breakthrough season for so many athletes. So yeah, I mean, you're right, Basher. I think look, people making the best of a bad lot and just putting work in.
And I think the important thing, Pat, is that the coaches will reflect on this, and perhaps some of the philosophies and their training routines going into future years may be refined.
Absolutely. I mean, coaches are used to a season where you've got indoors and outdoors, and in some cases, you know, I mean, on the longer events, you may take in a bit of cross country along with that as well, or whatever. So, yeah, look, I think there's learnings there for everyone really, if they have to reflect back on what's actually transpired. I know maybe some of the field eventers, but probably have been, you know, especially the longer throws. I mean, they've been I suppose on the other side of the coin there, they've really suffered from lack of competitive opportunities. But on the main, we saw big moves forward on the shorter events. So yeah, look, food for thought there really.
But there's no doubt about it. There's plenty of PBs that have been set already, and particularly at the junior championships last week. And I dare say it may well happen again this weekend as people start to reach their 4th and 5th performances of the season, and quite often that's when the best performances of the year come out. And with qualification deadlines coming up, it's the time to do it. Just looking at these qualifications here. So the Olympic qualifying time for the 400 that I dare say the finalists are going to be looking for is 51.35. And as we were saying, Phil Healy has a personal best of 51.5. So she's not a million miles away from it. And hopefully, if the conditions are favourable tomorrow, that could be the day.
Phil's a real championship performer. She always performs really well at these championships, and of course we saw her this year at the European Indoors with a stellar performance, just failing to make the podium, beaten by some really, really quality athletes on the day, in fairness.
And in fairness, to my knowledge, Phil's fairly new to the 400. Would that be right?
Yeah. Well, we all remember that famous 4x4 relay where she where she snatched victory from a long way back. But yeah, I mean, Phil would have been very well known as a 100, 200 metre runner, I suppose, before that. National record holder at both 1 and 2. So yeah, but look, it's just a sign of her versatility and her talent and her ability and the good work that's been laid down there by herself and her coach Shane. So yeah, I mean, Phil's a fantastic talented athlete. So I mean, it'll be interesting to see how far she pushes those barriers back.
No, for a moment there, Pat, I thought I was going to use that 3-letter word, age, but you didn't go there.
Not at all, not at all. And coming up on the rear view mirror for Phil now is Rashid Adeleke, who's, I mean, a stellar underage career really, winning lots of medals at European level and working closely with Daniel Galigan there. Now she's in Texas, but again shooting the lights out there. So yeah, look, these are exciting days for Irish female sprinting.
Yeah, I know the Texas performances have really caught the eye, and I'm just looking. Of course, it was a 200 where she set the Irish record. I was thinking it was she'd had a 400 out, and I think she's done a couple of relays, hasn't she, Pat?
Yeah, I mean, there's word coming back that she ran a leg of a 4x4 relay, and what we're hearing is that it was sub 51 for that.
Yeah.
Now again, it's not exact, but it gives a good indication of where she's at, and more importantly, maybe where she's going.
And I think the important one there, Pat, is I'm sure with my experiences when I was in America, those 4x4 relays, we always say, yeah, it's, you know, they've got a rolling start there, and you know, but the other reality is that's probably come after 2 sprint events when she's done the 100 and the 200 in the same weekend. So while we might say, you know, it was, you know, they had a rolling start, you know, it might be the 3rd or 4th event of that weekend. So I'm really excited about that.
No, absolutely, you're right, Bashir. Someone like Rashida is a points machine for the college there. I mean, she will be running individual events, 100 metre, 200 metres, whatever, for ring relays as well, and then the medley relays. So she would undergo a heavy schedule really in terms of racing. So yeah, I mean, all those times really do stand up to scrutiny.
Yeah, and talking about that, while there might be a fair few events for people to do, it's important that athletes are aware of the limitations and, you know, pace themselves fairly well, because invariably you can overdo it.
That's always the challenge, really, when you wait for an athlete based in America. In many cases, Bashir, it's not a case to place of really picking your races. Oftentimes, it's you know, the college, the competition schedule dictates really, and it's okay. On one side in America, you do really get the opportunities to run a lot of races and run in really competitive races, and the competitive structure is really strong. The flip side of that then is that you may not always be the master yourself of your schedule, and you may end up running a lot of races, shall we say, and maybe at a time where if there was a championship coming up and you want to taper for it, maybe you may end up running races over there that maybe take the edge off.
Okay, I think we can see the 400 runners just limbering up and getting ready to flow, and I think on that one, let's have a quick look at those 400 metre results. Here.
Lane 5, Brandon Array from Lady Shamrock. Lane 6, in Mellon, Carrigan Shannon. Lane 7, Jed Walsh, Rathoth. And in Lane 8, Jack Hickey, Moyne.
Okay, the men's 400 metre sprints. I think we've got 6 heats here, so we've got a busy schedule of men rolling around this track. The first heat.
Chris O'Donnell and Brandon Arry here in Madden. This is nothing coming easy in this particular race. Kevin Lynch from the Stolens in lane 2, Neil Flanagan, Chris O'Donnell, as mentioned before, North Sligo. Chris in really good form this year. Brandon Arry, who always gives a good account of himself, running with Raheny at the moment. In Madden, a former medalist, a couple of different distances really here. Jed Walsh from Rathoth and Jack Hickey bringing up the field.
And this is a tough qualification here, Pat. It's only the winner that goes through and the 2 fastest losers. So with 6 heats, it's only winners guaranteed. So there should be some hellish racing coming up.
Yeah, I mean, looking at this, Chris O'Donnell, maybe Brandon in Madden, maybe I'm up in the correction on this. 400 metres may not be my strongest event, but Chris O'Donnell would be the big name here really, but Brandon always gives a really good account of himself in these championships. And I think, well, I remember, was it last year? I'm trying to remember now. Maybe the year before, Brandon ran a really fast heat as well. So Chris is going to have to work here to keep Brandon in his rear view mirrors really.
Well, Brandon's in lane 5, Chris is in lane 4, so I think Chris has got the trump card there in terms of keeping an eye on people. I think of in this, I think we've got Brandon O'Donnell and Sean Mockler, have we?
It's the hammer at the moment.
That's
yeah.
a hammer. Sorry, wrong event. Let's get back to my list. Yeah, the Olympic standard is 44.90, so that's a tough standard for these guys. The European juniors standard is, the A standard is 47.27, and the under 23 A standard is 46.60, with the B standard at 47.60, and the junior B standard is 48.20 for any of those youngsters chasing those times as well. And they're always chasing times.
This will be interesting to see now how Brandon goes out. Chris, of course, the favourite to progress here, and Chris will be looking to have a big say in when the medals are handed out tomorrow.
So the first of 6 heats of this men's 400 metres, Christopher O'Donnell just closes down the gap there on Brandon Array. So both of these looking to get through to the final tomorrow. And on the outside in, Mellon also have his sights in the final tomorrow. But
Chris moving up there nicely.
So 46 seconds for the first time a few weeks ago. Looks very, very comfortable. He's through the first 200 metres.
Chris, Brandon, Ena moving ahead of the rest here. Putting like Chris pushing ahead, looking very good. Chris moving ahead now. Brandon with that distinctive backward lean of his. Aidan hasn't given up yet. Chris shuts it down now and relaxes. Brandon hangs on for second.
That's 47.46 winning there. Looking very comfortable.
He did. He looked very good there. Very smooth. Got out, imposed his control really on the race from an early stage. Moved up on Brandon, and just took it home from there really, and was quite comfortable on the finishing straight. And
looking at that body language there as he's chatting to people almost straight away, while the others are bent over, catching a breath. That's not a man who's dug deep into his lactate reserves.
Chris O'Donnell's a good athlete. Come through very, very nicely underage. Ran very, very well as a junior in the European juniors. He's in the UK now, working over there. So Chris, there's a lot more in Chris, and it'll be interesting to see over the next year or two, see how close Chris gets down to the 45. As you can see here, he's come down to finish straight again, controlled, relaxed, shoulders relaxed. Brandon Ena fighting for that second spot. Brandon with that distinctive backward lean, but Chris just easing in. Maybe slightly hyperbole, but looked a little bit like Jeremy Warner there now, maybe.
Now, that's going back a few years, and Jeremy Warner was a 43 man. That's, my goodness, there's not many of those people knocking around.
Absolutely, wishful thinking on my part, but I know, in fairness, Chris looked very good there, so
yeah,
see him tomorrow.
I'm looking forward to seeing him flow around there tomorrow, and well, we wait those results and have a quick look at who's coming up in Heat 2. We've got Owen Shanley from Lucan in lane 2, Zach Higgins from Dunort, lane 3.
Killian Green
in Galway, isn't it?
Good GCH, yes. Killian from Galway to the Harriers.
Owen Kenny from Waterford in lane 5, Jack Manning, Kilkenny in lane 6, Finn Riley from Dunlea in lane 7, and Cathal McLachlan from Carrick Shannon.
Okay, Carrick and Shannon well represented here now. In the last race, Killian Green I think would be the one to look out for in this next race now. Jack Manning actually just I understand is a sibling of Cleena, who we saw earlier on, so good family representation this weekend here. Killian Green also a number of years ago at the European Juniors, we were talking there about the previous race, but Killian was also, maybe I'm up in the correction, but I think it was 200 metres at that stage, and he ran into. He was in the European Junior final as well, so strong representation, and good to see these guys coming through who would have run strongly at European Junior level. Nice to see them now pushing on and running quick times. Killian this year has gotten down close to 46 seconds, 46.18 I think is his PB. That's a nice step forward for a young man, so yeah. Good to see a number of Irish 400 metre runners getting down to 46 low, or even to 45 as we saw with Chris.
Yeah, looking at this field, it looks like we've got we have got a strong favourite there in Killian Green. I'm just going to jump back to Heat 1 because I thought we might add the results, but the results haven't come through yet. That's Vincent Riley just announcing the starters there on the louder MC, which you may well have heard. Yeah, it's a bit cooler tonight, Pat, but I dare say it's closer to the normal Irish weather, so we can appreciate it from that perspective, can't we?
It's not too bad at all, Bashir. I've been here on occasions when it's been inclement, I think, to put it mildly. But no, I think the conditions aren't too bad. A little bit cool, a bit of a wind there on the finishing straight, but all in all, not too bad really. The guys will be keen to just get the race over, get wrapped up, and prepare for the final tomorrow.
Certainly be the smart thing to do.
Looking at Finn Riley there, warming up. Finn, I reckon, is a son of Fenton's. So Fenton there, calling the start list, listing his own son here. So that's a proud day for Fenton, seeing his son competing in the national seniors.
Yeah, I've been privy to a few of his sessions down at Queen's University playing fields, putting in the long hard work on the mud through the winter. So I've certainly been putting in the work there, working with Mark Kirk and the squad up there, and I've been quite impressed with the amount of work he has put in. So I think his endurance base will be looking good.
He's a bright boy too. He would have within work experience in AI a few times in the past, and Finn is he's a very bright guy, so best of luck to him today.
So we said earlier, it's just the winner from each heat that will qualify, and the two fastest losers. So it's gladiator stuff, this, isn't it?
There's very little room for error here. We haven't seen Brandon's time yet, have we? That hasn't come up. Okay.
No, they've not arrived yet.
Okay. We'll keep an eye on that. It's Brandon. We would imagine will be one of the in the mix for the final, but we shall see. Killian Green here, as we said, is the standout in this particular heat, so I think it will be a big surprise if that result is anything other than Killian comfortably taking this home.
Yeah, I think he's comfortably a good second ahead of everybody else in this field, and but the other thing, Pat, is we've one or two youngsters in here, and they can make big improvements.
Well, that's true. We've seen a lot of improvements from a lot of athletes this year.
Second heat underway. Killian Green already beating up the stagger on Kenny outside him. Jack Manning going very well then out in lane 6. So it's Killian Green and Jack Manning. Killian Green now just closes.
That wind's picked up a bit there. And just see those flags picking up as they approach 200.
They are. They've picked up a lot actually. Killian needs to ahead now. Killian had a little look there.
Jack Manning battling against each other up the home straight.
Jack Manning pushing hard, but I don't think he's going to get that second spot.
Very impressive there.
Owen Kenny holds it up for second place. Okay, Owen Kenny in second place now.
That's a strong finish for that second place runner there.
He ran through nicely there. Yeah, it'll be interesting now to see the times as soon as they arrive.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the body language just to try and get a bit more of an insight into how hard they have worked. And invariably these winners, you know, like I said, they've got a good 1 second buffer quite often. And
Killian Green has his top on already. The other guys just bent over from their exertions, but Killian went straight over, got the top on immediately.
Keep warm on these nights, haven't you?
Well, he's wasting no time in starting the recovery in terms of for tomorrow. So yeah, that was a statement of intent. Really, ran a very comfortable race, ran quick, straight over, top on, out of here.
But I know it'll be a tricky wait for a few people, those second place athletes, and Owen Kenny from Waterford did a great job there of comfortably getting second place ahead of the third place athlete that was Jack Manning. But of course he started very fast and may have paid the price for that commitment.
That's right. Yeah, it was a tough battle down the finishing straight, and Jack wasn't giving in, but not to be. Next heat lining up. Who's on the?
With heat 3, we've got lane 2 to lane 8 filled up here. We've got Shane Kennedy from Selbridge, Aaron Keane from Tullamore, Robert McDonnell from Galway City Harriers, Andrew Mellon from Crusaders, Jamie Mitchell from Emerald, Jack Pender from Carrick Connoisseur, and Kenneth Weirty
from Oakvale. Oakvale, a great club down in County Laois there. So yeah, nice to see someone from Oakville in the national seniors. A number of years ago, a Laois development squad was set up for sprinters, and John Scully from Oakville was a leading light in that. So it's good to see the fruits of that coming through now. Looking through Andrew Mellon, of course, who we saw as part of that mixed 4x4 team at the European or at the World Relays, getting to qualifiers. So yeah, Andrew will be looking to push on through here now. Robert McDonald as well, a big breakthrough this season too. So those two guys will push on. Looking at Aaron Keane from Tullamore Harriers, a bit of trivia there. Aaron Keane's dad actually played Gaelic football for Westmeath, and one of his uncles is the two-time All-Star John Keane, who won the Leinster Senior with Westmeath back then. I'm showing my county regions here, but Aaron would have a strong pedigree. His dad had the distinction of winning Connacht School's 100 metres the same year as he won a Connacht School's cross-country title. So Aaron following on in the family footsteps.
My goodness, that is one heck of a double.
Yeah, and they didn't stop there. His brother, Aaron's uncle Cahill, actually repeated the same feat a few years later. And Cahill, many years ago, I'm showing my age now, Cahill was full forward on the Westmeath minor team that won the All-Ireland. So strong sporting pedigree from Aaron Keane. No pressure on the boy.
Wow.
So Andrew and Robert here now, they're the men to look for.
I'm wondering if they're delaying these results intentionally just to get these athletes to give a full effort throughout. But we haven't got any Heat 1 results yet. But we know it is incredibly competitive for these final places, and as we were talking about earlier, there are probably 6 places going for the major relay squads, and yeah, it's going to be a tough one. But we will update you as the results come through to us. In the meantime, getting ready for heat number 3.
I'm looking forward to this. Basher, Robert McDonald, Andrew Mellon, this could be a battle.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be a lactate
feast.
Yes, feast. I wish these cameramen would get perhaps a bigger close-up of these faces at the end, just to appreciate how much lactate is going through the system in the 10 or 20 seconds after the finish.
You're showing your sadistic streak there, Basher.
I think, and on a serious note, really, the body language, really tells us, one, how much they've put in, and two, perhaps how well they've paced it as well. And invariably, the winners, quite often, they manage that tank of lactate quite well.
Absolutely, and the stakes couldn't be higher this weekend, Basher. I mean, these men are literally running for slots on the Olympic team. So I mean, you get your effort right, manage your distribution of effort correctly, perform in the final, and you're on that plane. So, yeah, there's no room for error this weekend, really. These men.
It's a weekend of dreams, and some of them will come true.
Andrew Mellon last minute to the blocks there now.
So all eyes here early on. Rob McDonald lane 4, Andrew Mellon lane 5. Rob McDonald's gone up pretty hard here, it's just closing down that gap, and Andrew Mellon on his outside. So two of them nearly side by side, getting that back straight. Andrew Mellon will kick on now, and he senses Rob McDonald on his inside.
Robert McDonald has moved up to Andrew there. Not much in it here now. Rob slightly ahead, moved on to his shoulder.
It's a pacing game now. Who's got it right?
Robert running well. Andrew fighting back really hard. This is tough. Andrew's coming. Rob holding on. Is he holding on?
Well, that was the top 400 metre race tonight for sure.
That was, it was. You could probably hear the listeners at home could probably hear Fenton coming through the public address, but a really strong run. Robert McDonald strong, and Andrew right behind him, just on his shoulder. I'm saying, Basher, I'm putting Andrew now as the top qualifier so far of the three races we've seen.
Well, I think that was probably a 47.7 performance from second place Andrew Mellon. That would be my guess anyway.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at this finish again, because it was a bit special. Giving them all. A nice head on there.
Andrew holding his form very well.
And in fairness, Robert's doing a great job there.
He is, yeah.
Flowing.
Rob tied slightly, but he managed to hold on, and he'll be happy with that.
Yeah, I would argue that Robert had a bit more lactate in his system, and
the knees weren't quite coming up as high, but he hung on, he did the job, and so yeah, he'll be very pleased with that. He can go home now and recover. Come back for tomorrow.
Yeah, but in reflection of the body language, I would say that that's he's the hardest. He's worked the hardest to win his heat out of the other two.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. I mean, Andrew didn't give him a moment's peace, and the other two guys had that little bit of daylight really to allow them to shut down slightly on the finishing straight. The last 30-40 metres they were coasting in, whereas he worked to the line there.
And we have actually got the results coming through on that one now. So it was Robert McDonald that won it in 47.61 from Andrew Mellon, 47.68. Third place was Aaron Keane from Tullamore, 49.57, ahead of Jamie Mitchell from Emerald AC in 49.76. Jack Pender, Carrick Sur in 51.04. Kenise Worty from Orval in 52.34, and Shane Kennedy from Selbridge in 53.8.
Yeah, 47.68. That's going to be very strong compared to some of the other races. Look, finish up a shout out to the guys down in Oakville, John Scully and all the guys there, and look, Aaron Keane, as I said, his dad Dave sat beside me in school, so yeah, just mention him there as well. Flick back over there, Bash, and we'll have a quick look and see Andrew Mellon, 47.68. That's And
then just looking at Heat 2 there, we've got second place Owen Kenny, who did 48.76.
Okay.
We're just having another quick look at this replay here. Yeah, that's good control from the winner of that heat, Robert McDonnell. He hits a sea of lactate. Andrew comes back, but not quite close enough there.
Andrew fights all the way.
So just coming back to heat 2 there, the winning there was Killian Green with 47.63, just a smidgen behind Andrew, in front of Andrew Mellon there. And then heat 1, the winner there was Christopher O'Donnell in 47.45. From second place, Brandon Ari from Raheny Shamrocks in 48.44.
Okay, 48-44, that's Brandon. And the second heat 2 there, Bash again. 48. Okay, Owen Kenny's out at the moment. So Brandon is in the second fastest lead. Yeah. And Andrew Mellon is holding the first one. I'd be surprised if Andrew doesn't hold on with that. That should ease him into the final quite comfortably. And let's have a look and see. Brandon probably is in a good place too.
Well, in fairness, I think just doing some maths here. I think Andrew Mellon is, maybe 0.8 of a second faster than the second fastest loser at the moment.
Yeah.
With Andrew being the first fastest loser at the moment. As we go into heat 4.
Okay, Harry Purcell from Trim here. The name that's jumping out, Crosby beside him here in this track. David Buggy there in St Albans is 48.71. That's he won't be far either. But this is a mouth-watering race. Harry Purcell and Carl Crosby, two strong athletes. So.
Harry Purcell stepping down to 400s again from Trim AC in 5 Carl Crosby and track. In 6 Owen Buggy St Albans. In 7 David Campbell Mure Harriers and in 8 Peter Murray Crusaders.
Carl Crosby has medalled his championships in the past, and of course I think it was 2 years ago we all recall Harry flinging himself across the line in an attempt to get the gold. Chris O'Donnell I think was at the time held on, but a brave effort by Harry, and then of course Harry came through last year in the 800 metres, holding off Keane McPhillips in the 800 metres. So interesting step down now from Harry. As I said, Bash, Harry has run 146.4 this year, a massive breakthrough for the young man from Trim, and he'll be very pleased with that. So it seems like he's put all these cards on the table here, and he's going to have a go at the 4. And I would imagine in an attempt to make his way onto that 4x4 relay team. So fair play. Interesting to see if the gamble comes off.
Hey. I dare say, if I had those kind of wheels, I'd be doing the same myself. But those years were long gone.
Absolutely. It'll be interesting now. I mean, the stamina and the strength that has served him so well in the 8. Will there have been any loss on the razor sharp speed? And of course, Carl Crosby, just outside him there, he'll be looking at he'll have his own thoughts on how this is going to work out, and his intentions will no doubt become clear very quickly.
P4 on the way. So we've seen Harry Purcell run a number of 146s this year. But it's Carl Crosby.
It's a controlled looking start from Harry Purcell.
Carl has put some daylight. He's pushing on hard.
Stride in the lead now. Harry Purcell decides it's time to kick on. He tries to close down now halfway through, but it's still Carl Crosby with a little bit of a lead over Harry Purcell.
Harry's coming hard. Harry's coming quickly. Harry looks to be moving through. Crosby responds, but Harry's holding on. Crosby's fighting back, and Crosby looks like to be. Yeah, Carl Crosby takes it. 47.87. Carl Crosby was strong there. Halfway through the race, Bashir, Harry put down a real effort. A really surging push through. Carl proved stronger though in the last 60 metres.
Yeah, do you think that might have made the difference about the lactate, that he just put his foot down a bit too hard too soon? But it was a great race all the same.
Possibly a brave race by both guys.
But unfortunately, not unfortunately, the moment he's the second fastest loser at the moment.
Harry
Purcell. Yeah, he's just a little slower than Andrew Mellon there.
Yeah. Crosby, of course, as I said earlier on, medalist here previously and coached by the same squad down there as Tommy Barr, by Drew and Haley Harrison in UL. Those guys know how to run 400 metres.
Can't argue with that, having just witnessed a lovely flowing run there from Cathal Crosby from Ennis Track Club.
So just a reminder to spectators and athletes, when you're not competing, just apply all the COVID guidelines. You can keep your masks on, please.
I see the women's pole vault is just starting place. The vault's only at 2 metres 30 at the moment, so there's a good way to go. I think heading that entry, I think is Ellen Mccartney, but I'll just have to double check that.
Yeah, Alan's not here this weekend. Helen recently broke the under 23 pole vault record with a fine performance, but no, she's not. I understand
she's not down on the entry. You're right.
I understand from speaking to some people that I think that some of the travel restrictions proved against her. So no, unfortunately.
And that looks like it was a bit hesitant. So we need speed to clear the pole vault. Speed is key. The more speed you've got, the more you can push that pole forwards. But if you just bulk a little bit and lose the momentum, invariably that loses your ability to carry yourself over the bar. And with good momentum, you're able to drive up high and lift your legs high. But without it, you can actually just fall back down again. So speed is key in that pole vault event.
Yeah, a good field here this week. Pole vault, women's pole vault is an event that in recent years has really improved in terms of numbers and in terms of standards too. The home base coaches are really doing a good job. Looking here, there's a couple of people here from Lusk this weekend. Sarah Durham, who'll probably hopefully be involved in the shake-up. Quillen Madigan's also there. Shout out to the guys out in Lusk. They've got a really good pole vault set up out there. A little academy of excellence, really, is what you'd call it.
Out in the shed. Yeah.
Out in the shed. I've been out there myself, and massive credit due to the guys out there. Also, as well, I mean, Eamon Flanagan is doing notable work.
If I can just say that last one was the difference of failure and success, and the difference was that the momentum carried through that pole was a big difference, and there was a bit of a bend on the pole, but ultimately that pole just went forwards and she was able to lift her feet and clear that bar comfortably. I think the bar's at 2:45 presently. I think that was Ava Roachford from Nina that's just cleared that.
2:45, Rochford, yeah.
I think this is Sarah Derham from Lusk.
2 weeks ago. So week 5, lane 2, Maxwell Crusaders. Lane 3,
Yes, it is.
Crusaders. Lane 4, Jack Rafferty, Kenora Harriers. Under 23 champion from last weekend.
Well done.
Lovely clearance.
She was well over there. That was a really good jump.
Lane 6, Adam Hughes, City of Lisburn. Lane 7, Adam Hart from SAC.
And just on that one, Pat, I've recently been chatting to a coach down at Athlone, and hopefully we're going to have some regular pole vault sessions down there. So I know one or two people from the surrounding areas of Athlone, particularly Mullingar and Roscommon, who said they've been interested. We're hoping to get that started in the next 3 or 4 weeks at Athlone. Yeah, that would be good. I mean, pole vault is an event where we've got some keen people like Noel Green has been doing a lot of really good work for years. As such, Eamon Flanagan has done good work, as I mentioned, in Munster. Here we go again, Bash. That was a near. It was a clearance. They all count, and that looks like a happy athlete there.
Was that Meg Terrell from Raheny?
I think it was a Raheny athlete. I'm just checking the names here.
Yeah, it looks like Meg Terrell from Raheny. Shamrock's down my eyesight. It's not as good as it could be from our vantage point up here, but yeah, that's a good jump too.
Okay, next heat at the 400. It's the winners only, remember, and the 2 fastest losers. The second of those, I think, is at 47.87 presently. So Harry Purcell's 48 seconds exactly.
48 dead. Crosby easing home in 47.85.
So I don't think Harry's going to make that final with that time.
No.
Okay, heat 5 here. We've got Max Doyle lane 1, Hugh McGee lane 3, Jack Rafferty lane 4, Paul White lane 5, Adam Hughes lane 6, Adam Hart lane 7, and Tom McCutcheon lane 8. Fastest in the field is Jack Rafferty in lane 4 from Dunno. And with a full start, we've got a bit more time just to go through this field.
Yeah, Jack is probably the top seed here. Paul White in the Olympics not far behind him, so those guys are probably the ones we'll be looking at here to lay down a mark and see if they can push through to the final.
There's a man with a card out there. I can't make out the colour of it.
I see yellow. Jack will be feeling quite relieved there, I'd say.
I would say so too. And the card system. Have you much experience with that, Pat?
Not a lot now. My own experience would be maybe in the
The
race
walking
walking side,
cards,
yeah,
yeah.
where cards, you have a little bit more leniency there. I think that the cards give you a bit of a warning, a caution, whereas in the sprints, if you get a card, typically it's not good news. Actually, I think it's getting a bit colder here now as well. The wind appears to be strongest during the finish straight, and the temperature is dropping, I think.
No, it's my personality, that, Pat. It's nothing to do with the weather. It's just my cold personality. Hopefully, I'm hoping it's going to warm up at some stage. But
I couldn't possibly comment on that, Basher. Here we go now. They're back in blocks again for a second time.
okay, heat 5. Remember, winners only, and the 2 fastest losers. The second of those is presently.
So we're away a second time asking here, so much at stake for these 400-metre athletes this weekend. 3 athletes on that plane to Tokyo. We've gone off very hard. There's Paul White from Nina Olympic.
Paul White has pushed really fast. Jack Rafferty beginning to move up behind him.
Second place, City Elizabeth, and he's going to be in third place at this stage. So he's really taken to the field here. Paul White, Nina Olympic. Into that home straight.
Jack Rafferty starting to ease into it now.
So Jack Rafferty now.
Chasing down.
And Jack pushes through. Paul White from Nina went out very, very hard, but Jack has come through strongly. Running all the way through.
This could be
He's
a
not easing up.
PB.
That was a strong run, 47.70. That would have won some of the other races. He ran all the way through, Basher. He didn't ease up at all.
No, he just flowed a treat. He got his gears right, didn't he? And I actually thought he might hit a PB there, but he's just about 6th chance outside.
Yeah, strong performance there now.
So I was just looking at these second fastest. We've got Brandon with 48 point.
48.44, Brandon.
48.76 for Owen.
48 even for Harry.
And Andrew Mellon with 47.68. Harry Purcell with 48 flat. And just looking at this finish again. There's our winner from Nina Olympics. And
Jack from the North winning there from Paul White, Nina, yeah. But I think Paul suffered. He went out very, very hard. His first 200 metres was very, very quick, and there was a significant gap there. But Jack paced himself a little bit more equally and came through.
came through a treat.
Winning comfortably in the end, to be fair.
Yeah. 48 flat for Harry Purcell. Is that the second fastest?
Yeah.
Yeah. It is. Yeah.
Yeah, Andrew and Harry, yeah. Brandon 48.44.
He's third fastest.
Unfortunately,
so yeah,
he's the third
48
fastest.
flat for Harry Purcell. As we get ready for the final heats of the men's 400, and then we'll be moving on to, I think, the heats of the 1500, if my memory serves me right. Yep. It'll be the women's 1500 metre heats following these 400 metres. and that's due off, the first of those, in about 5 minutes' time. You can see the women's pole vault cracking on over there.
Just going back to women's pole vault, Basher, yeah, I think the main challengers for this particular title, probably Una Bryce from Leevale, Claudia Walsh from Abbey Striders, and Ciara Hickey, the third one, so yeah.
And they won't have opened up with their heights yet, will they?
Probably not, probably not. They're all they're trying to keep warm. I see them jumping around with towels and blankets and a couple of heavy coats. So yeah, it's warm. It's cool over there.
Yeah, definitely. It's a wise thing to be have yourself a blanket or a some kind of onesie or whatever to keep yourself warm. Anyway, coming back to Heat 5 there, we've got the results. Jack Rafferty came in 47.69 ahead of Paul White from Nina Olympic in 48.68 and Adam Hughes from City of Lisbon in 49.17. Remember, you guys at home can watch or see these results at live.athleticsisland.ie. So the results are there. All the heat sheets and the qualifying is there too.
Another failure there in the pole vault. Our Raheny athlete, unfortunately. I think that was 260 she was jumping at there. Meg Terrell. She's got one more chance. I see her here on the runway.
You're quite right, yeah. We've had two clear at 260 and we've quite a few that have yet to have their opening height in the women's pole vault. But here she goes, it's Meg Terrell with a final attempt at 260. Attack, attack, attack. Bit of aggression, drive.
Raheny's and Meg, no doubt, coached by Noel Green.
Quite at my PB yet, this. My decathlon days are long gone. Cleared 280, 285 back in the day.
Unfortunately, Meg couldn't reach that, so that's her competition.
Yeah, I think she could have done with a bit more speed there to carry her over. But easier said than done. Or lower down the pole, that's about the other way to enhance that ability to carry the pole over.
I'll take your word for it. We're back now.
Heat 6, the final heat of the men's 400 metres. 48 seconds flat is the second fastest loser at present. And that goes to Harry Purcell as they approach the line in the men's 400 metre.
I don't think we have the hot seat situation here tonight, as we've seen in the pre-championships before, but Harry currently occupies that spot, so yeah.
Wouldn't call it a hot seat for sure. There's no hot seats here, Pat, I can assure you of that.
Okay.
I should have brought a cushion.
You should. Let's have a look and see. We've got Thomas Pitkin in 47.5, and we've got Shane Monagle from Tramore 47.77. They're the two fancy
two
athletes.
Potential PBs that could top Harry Purcell, so it should be exciting, if nothing else.
Oh, false start there. I think that was Keely Hogan. I think it might not be a yellow card on this occasion. Bashir.
That looks like a darker colour to me.
Yeah, he looks guilty. He's going back. And indeed, stopping in front of Keely. Yeah.
Unfortunate. That's unfortunate for Keely Hogan there from L'Aquila. He'll be back. He'll be back stronger, wiser, smarter, and more controlled, I'm sure.
I'm wondering, was that Joe Walsh that performed the Grim Reaper task? I can't see with the face mask.
Hey, it's not the most pleasant job, but hey, it's keeping the goalposts the same distance apart for everybody. Playing fair, doing the right thing.
So we're back to 5 now in this race remaining.
Yeah, 5, and the Thomas Pitkin and Shane Monagle from Clonleaf and Tremor are the key protagonists, I believe, in lane 4 and lane 5.
5 athletes, 1 coveted spot guaranteed in the final, and Shane Monagle from
Pitkin was very close to that start line on his acceleration.
Thomas Pitkin from Clonleaf Harriers. Now begins to close that gap down the back.
Looking very controlled and flowing well.
Nothing between Shane Monagle.
I'd agree.
Thomas Pitkin.
It's not
Pitkin
much
and
between
Monagle
them.
now.
Those are between these two. Just over 150 to go. Thomas Pitkin now.
Pitkin's moving up on the inside. He's closing that gap.
Inside, they'll come into the hole straight again.
They'll straighten up now, and let's see.
Thomas Pitkin now kicks on. He's got the
Pitkin's in front, Bash.
come back out, but it looks like Thomas Pitkin.
They matched each other stride for stride for the first 300, and Pitkin has come through a treat, chasing it down.
48-20, and Shane Monagle, second place.
So I think that confirms that Harry Purcell is going to get that second fastest qualifying place.
Yeah, Thomas Pitkin takes that heat, and as you suggest, Basher, Harry, the dream is still alive for Harry in the 400 metre final tomorrow. Andrew Mellon taking the other spot.
Yeah, subject to the official results, but yeah, it was a 48.2 winning time, and we're just going to get a quick head-on shot of Thomas Pitkin driving down.
Yeah, at this stage Shane was tired. The knees weren't coming up, and the game was up. Strong performance by Pitkin. He ran through the line well.
Yeah, he did indeed. But you know, he's probably close on a second outside his best. So I think, as we were saying earlier, sometimes you need 3 or 4, 5, 6 races really to hit your sweet spot. And whether they've had that kind of experience so far, I know not. Those official results are through now, and the qualifiers are Thomas Pitkin from Clonleaf, Jack Rafferty from Dunor, Cathal Crosby and Harry Purcell from Ennis Track and Trim AC respectively. Robert McDonald from Galway City Harriers and Andrew Mellon from Crusaders, both qualified from Heat 3. Heat 2 winner was Killian Green from Galway City Harriers, and Chris O'Donnell from North Sligo qualified from Heat 1.
Back to women's pole vault now. Good clearance there. And from West Waterford.
West Waterford athlete would be
As Lisa Houlihan. The Houlihans are the ubiquitous when it comes to pole vaulting from Waterford.
2021 National Senior Championships.
And here we go now.
The women's hammer. And third place.
just not quite there.
51-23 from Lifford-Strabane, Adrian Gallen.
I think that was Ava Rochford
In second place with the best throw of 61.
at 290, the pole vault.
Second round from Bandon AC, Nicola Tuttle.
And we've just got the presentation here for the women's hammer.
And the champion, again, with a throw of 62-64 from Swinford AC, Michaela Walsh.
Michaela Walsh getting her national title there again. 62 metres. Her PB, of course, 64. And Michaela, we may recall, a former European junior bronze medalist in this event. Nicola Tuttle in second place, probably as expected. A PB of 61 metres this year. Nicola from Bandon. Nicola is an under 20 athlete. Will be going to the European juniors, and significantly, she's actually very, very young. She's almost an under 18, so just out of the under 18 category. So Nicola is an athlete for the future. Adrienne Gallen as well. She'll be very pleased with the bronze. Adrienne's mum, Sharon Foley, is a former international high jumper. So. Adrienne coming through very, very strongly there. A really good athlete. And she's a younger sister as well, Quiva, who's also part of that high performance group up in Lifford Strabane. I think exciting times in women's pole vault here, or women's hammer. Michaela Walsh, she's had some technical issues recently, so good to see her coming back with a strong performance. Coached by Paddy Kelly over there in Swinford. Also involved there, Megan Moynihan, and I understand who we didn't get footage of that, but that there were also a number of athletes from Lusk there as well. So the Lusk Academy bearing fruit here across the field events. So in summary, Michaela Walsh there in first place, Nicola Tuttle second, and Adrienne Gallen in third place. So probably going with form there, Bashir. That would have been the seeding in advance. In advance, so yeah, good performance. Megan Moynihan also there. I understand was throwing as well. She's a sister of Groney, who we saw earlier on in the 400 metres. So yeah, look, another athlete who came back from lockdown stronger. So.
Sarah Healy from UCDAC, who put in 4:07 last week. Kate Nurse from UCD, Denise Toner of Clonus, Carla Sweeney, Ruth Farnham, Ivo DeBrin from Dublin City Harriers, and Annette Quaid from Leavin.
So as you just heard, we've got Sarah Healy, who's just recently ran 4:07. It's probably the favourite too. And they're off.
Yeah, Sarah Healy would be the favourite here, looking to get through. Ellie Harton from UCD, also a strong performer and a medalist in this championships on a number of occasions. Roisin Flanagan, of course, who herself and her twin sister, who are carving a spectacular niche for themselves over there in the States, in Adams State. So yeah.
Yeah, she's in great form. She looks absolutely poetic, running 9:06 on her own here last week. Yeah, I was just saying, Roisin looked absolutely poetic last week, running 9:06 here in the open meet. So the qualifying in this event is the first 6 and the 3 fastest losers, meaning there'll be 15 in the final. And they're all looking very comfortable at this pace. And
Ellie pushing it out there in first place.
Yep, I think they're running around about just outside 5-minute pace at the moment, so there's going to be sparks flying at some stage, I have no doubt.
Yeah, they're all bunched out, some of them there.
Yeah, Carla Sweeney's got a good turn of pace, so yeah, Carla Sweeney's got a good turn of pace, so it should be good to see her coming through. In about 79 or 80 seconds, as you probably saw.
They're not pushing too hard at this stage.
Denise Toner from Cloners has had some great runs this year, Pat. She's been around a while, and she's actually got a best of 4:20, I believe, this year.
Not too shabby at all, that's a good run. Siobhan Whelan from Clonmel will also be in the shake-up there, 4:26 this year. Ellie Harton again, as we said, UCD, still pushing it out there.
Remember, it's the top 6 and the 3 fastest losers.
Sarah Healy looks very comfortable, just tucked in there now, staying out of trouble, just at the back of that pack.
Sometimes wonder, Pat, whether somebody like Sarah Healy might be as well just getting out of here and letting it flow along. The last thing she'd want to do is bump into somebody and get injured on a day like this.
She's staying well out of trouble there, Basher. She was at the back of the group and now she's moving out. Take out in lane 2, almost in lane 3.
That's 2:38 at 800. This is going to be a 600 metre race, I think.
I think so, yeah.
Just over 600 metres to go.
Ellie Harton continues to push it out there. No one interested in taking it, pushing it by her.
Automatically going to go through. It's pretty slow, so the second heat know what they have to do. For the other three places in the final. The wind starts to come down a little bit heavy. Ellie Harton still leads them out. Still looks like a Russell there on the outside.
Ellie with Carla just inside her.
These athletes have to qualify far out.
Sarah Healy now starts to push up and take closer order.
The work is possible. Sarah Healy now comes to the
Flanagan moves up too.
on the shoulder of Ellie Harton. The two UCD athletes lead them out, and now comes Roisin Flanagan from Palmer Runners.
That was 3:33 at the bell. It'll be an interesting final lap, this.
It will. Healy just pushing by Ellie Hartnett. Flanagan moves up onto her shoulder now. Carla Sweeney looking to close the gap.
Moves down around on the very outside. 200 metres to go. Sarah Healy on the inside now. Picks on Roisin Flanagan.
Sarah Healy, Flanagan, Ellie hanging on to third. Carla Sweeney moved into fourth.
Those 6 places in the final. Sarah Healy
Siobhan Whelan on the insider
on the outside. Carla Sweeney
in the spot as well.
Denise Turner now coming to sprint up the outside.
Ellie Hartnett has a look. 6 spots.
So 4 of them are pressed. Roisin, Ellie Harton, Denise Turner.
Ellie Hartnett, Roisin, Denise Toner, Carla Sweeney.
My goodness.
Siobhan Whelan, I think, there from Clonmel.
4:38.
Pretty leisurely 4:38.5.
I suppose significantly Bashir that wouldn't have taken an awful lot out of the main protagonist there tomorrow.
Well, it was a 64 last lap, and they ran the first 200 in 32 and the last 200 in 32. So I think they were just eyeballing each other really. I think one or two of them just didn't want to give too much away and just show everybody else how much speed they have got,
Possibly
how
under.
much they've got under the hat. And that was maybe the first 4 across the line.
And there's
Now,
an inquisition going on out there at the moment. Just talking through it. I see Ellie out there chatting away to Sarah.
Yeah.
Carla Sweeney there as well. I think they'll all be quite happy. The job done. Not a massive exertion. A brisk 400 metres at the end of it all, but that'll set them up nicely for tomorrow.
Yeah, it's perfect warm-up really, isn't it? It's the kind of thing a lot of them would do if they're going into a final tomorrow, or a couple of 200s at 30 to 32 just to feel the speed. Not too much lactate there, but invariably those 6th, 7th, 8th places will have dug a bit deeper. But that's a fair last lap, 64 seconds. That's around about 4-minute flat pace, and that would be not far outside the Irish record set by Sonia O'Sullivan way back in 1995 of 3:58.85. As we switch over to the pole vault, not a successful pole vault, but now the pole is the bar is at 3:05.
Was that Una Bryce there? I didn't. Girls coming out in the track now for the next heat of the 1500 metres.
And that's a successful clearance there in the pole vault at 3:05.
It is. Lee Bell there, Una Bryce, I think.
We're just flipping back to the hammer throw. Okay, and here on the hammer we can see the Clonliffe athlete Quiva Morris. who had a best of 43.11. Just notice that low centre of gravity before she turns and extends fully from the hips and the shoulders, as we say, for a best of 43.11. And there's that official distance. I didn't realise they were going to show that. I'd have kept my mouth shut otherwise. And 199 coming in here is Zoe Mohan from Cushingtown Athletics Club. I know what her best distance was. Let's see if this is it. So it's a gentle wind up here to get the rhythm. Once she gets that rhythm, she'll just do a little twinkle toes twist. It's beautiful movement of the feet there. And she didn't like that one, so she fouled it and just walked away. To save the officials measuring it, because she wasn't happy with it. But she had a best of 45.97, Zoe Mohan from Cushingtown Athletics Club.
Adrian Gallon now entering the circle.
That's Lifford Straban.
Mentioned earlier on, this young lady with a bright future. I saw her win the Irish School a number of years ago. Okay, foul on that occasion.
No, the interesting difference was the difference in speed. She really did wind up the speed, but invariably that's the trick with the hammer throw. Not. It's just a case of speed. It's having the coordination and the strength to hold that excessive speed as you rotate excessively.
Grace Claudia from Liss coming into the circle.
I'd have liked to see her sit down a bit longer. She was kind of up and down a little bit with those hips. But I'm no hammer thrower. That's the weakest of all my events. And Grace had a best of 39.09.
Here's Michaela now.
Hopefully this will execute some of our key elements. Hips low to start with, lower centre of gravity, building up the speed. Poetry.
Not a bad effort. Michaela, as I said earlier on, coming back to form nicely this year. Technique quite smooth there. Good to see her back to winning ways.
And she had a winning performance of 62.64 as we return to the 1500 metres here. This is Heat 2. Remember, it's the first 6 and the 3 fastest losers as we just switch and approach the start line.
So second heat numbers 1500 metres underway. First 6 automatically through to the final tomorrow. So we saw 4:38 the winning time in that first heat. So these athletes know what they have to do now in this second heat to try and get 9 through.
And the athletes in this, we've got quite a number here. Neve Kearney's done a 4.19, Nadia Power's done a 4.13, and Kelly Neely's got a best of 4.10. Although I think she's done 4.20 this year, so she's certainly got a good turn of speed. So I dare say, if it comes down to a sprint, she'll be there or thereabouts. They're a good 5 seconds faster here already.
This is an interesting heat here, Bashir. Michelle Finn tucked in there now nicely. Michelle, of course, fresh from her exploits for over 3,000 metre steeplechase. Second fastest Irish woman of all time, just behind Roisin McGettigan's time.
3 seconds leads them out. And then Donna Cairns, St. Sands leads the chasing group.
As Fintan just said, Neve Kearney has opened a significant gap here at the start. 25 metres in front, and no one taking any notice just yet. Neve running a time trial here.
Yeah, it's not great pace though. They're only on 4:30, 4:35 pace at the moment. So it really is training pace for some of these athletes. Many of these athletes, really.
We saw Ellie Hart in the last race coming through quite comfortably. Neve would have been a competitive horse down in Wicklow.
Neve Carey decided she knows what she has to do, and she's just going to that up business on her own. She's about 30-40 metres over the rest of the field.
Rose Finnegan there in second place. Rose, of course, coming back after a few years. Rose ran in the European Juniors over 800 metres a number of years ago, actually finishing ninth. She was one place off the final. So she's back in shape now. Neve Kearney has extended that. If anything, Basher, she's probably close to 30 metres ahead now.
Really, they're dawdling along. You know, I mean, what was that, a 73 and a 74 first two laps.
Nadia Power settled in nicely. No stress whatsoever.
And in reality, there are actually 9 places up for grabs here, because I think most of this field could probably run close to the qualifying time.
Neve Kearney has to look over her shoulder.
So at the moment, 4:39 will get you a fastest losers spot. And the 9th place is 4:42 at the moment.
Neve Kearney 40 metres ahead at the bell. Michelle Finn looking to take closer order now, moving up onto Rose Finnegan. Nadia moving into position as well. Brona Cairns still holding second place. Rose Finnegan, Michelle in third. No change at all, really. Neve Kearney leads out. Brona in second, Rose Finnegan in third.
7 athletes going for 5 places, automatic qualifying, but I think the reality is all of those 7 top 8 will probably qualify.
Neve has another look over her shoulder. She looks comfortable. Still Brona in second place, Rose on her shoulder. Pushing on now. Michelle Finn coming. Nadia looks very composed. Maisie Sullivan's pushing in that 6th place. Will she hold it?
Yeah.
We're coming through on the inside.
2, 4. There's one spot. He's going to miss out there. So I think the top 8 will qualify from that, and I think the first heat will 7th place will probably qualify. That's my guess. But I could be proved wrong.
Sounds good to me. Neve Kearney there took complete control of that race and just went out and ran as she wanted, secured a place in the final, so she'll be very pleased with that. I think.
Yeah, and that second group, they ran a 68 last lap, and yeah, like you say, a lot of them were just going through the motions, having a bit of a blowout and a stretch of the legs, as many of them would do the day before a race. Anyway,
yeah. Brona Cairns looks very relaxed there at the end. Rose Finnegan will be pleased with that, back in the national final again. And I think Michelle Finn was and Nadia just kept a close eye on everything that was happening there, and did what was required, I think, on the day.
Yeah, it'll be great to see Nadia in the final, and it'll be interesting to see how she features, because we all know that she's got speed, she's got wheels, but how will the others react to that, and how will their tactics negotiate that ability?
Interesting race. Nadia, of course, in a very strong position at the moment in terms of qualification for the Olympic Games, so we all hope that comes through nicely.
6, 2, 1, 6.
Okay, just coming back to the
back to the hammer here again, Brasher.
Who's this coming in now? As I check my program.
Nicola Tuttle from Bandon, who we haven't seen yet. Nicola's a fine talent. Basher, she's coming through very, very well. Exciting times for throwing here in Ireland at the moment.
So, slowly winding up, gradually getting faster and faster. Sitting low to start with and finishing high. to explode out. Great foot movement there. That's the key thing, getting the foot movement right and the coordination. And once you get that right, you can control the power and the speed of that hammer.
Yeah, 61 metres at the AI Games there recently.
Yeah.
She's a fine athlete. Very young too, as I said. We're having Adrian Gallon, quite young also. Two of those guys coming through, and Michaela Walsh, lest we forget, still a very young woman. So interesting days for Irish.
And that was her best throw there, 61.55.
Yeah.
And I was chatting to one of the field eventers recently, and saying that quite often they will often throw their best or perform their best in the warm-up throws when they're relaxed and not stressing about it. But come the competition, sometimes the stress can just choke away a little bit.
Ellen Gahan from Luskir Basher.
Okay, much slower control there, but control all the same. And that's key. And really, that's how you got to start. And as you get that control, you can gradually speed it up. But sometimes the juveniles and adults alike, the testosterone gets the better of them, and they go too fast too soon, and the coordination goes all over the place. But that was nice movement, I liked that. That was Ellen Gahan from Lusk AC with a best of 26 metres. Just see the officials adjusting the gates there. Looks like we've got a lefty coming forwards.
Looks like Megan Moynihan.
With the first four through finishing classes losers.
Good.
In the first race, Andrew Pascoe, Sarah C, Shane Bracken, Swinford, Darren McCartney, UCD, Joe Warren, Dominey, Aidan Carton, East Down,
Megan Moynihan here again.
Louis Casey, Joker, Luke Dinsmore, Anna Davis Strikers, Peter Henry, Joker, Joker athletes.
Very nicely done there. Great rhythm, great fluidity. And
this is another athlete that emerged from the lockdown in good shape. Bashir, she came through stronger and technically improved. So yeah, she's a strong athlete.
And she got better throughout the rounds there to finish off with a 50 metres and 20 performance. That was one of the earlier. I think that was the second round throw there. But great control, great fluidity, and going to the speed that she was capable of. And she executed fairly well there.
Round 3.
Okay, we return to the men's 1500 metres here, heat 1.
Andrew Coscoran in this race now. Andrew, who's running incredibly well this summer, getting down to the 3:35s, putting a real marker in, and the fastest Irishman in quite some time. So
Yeah, we've got 3 heats here, the first 4 and 3 fastest losers.
So running down through, we've got Andrew Coscoran, as I mentioned, Shane Bracken from Swinford, Darren McElhenney from UCD, Joe Warren from Doheny, Neil McCartney, East Down, Ruin Casey Toker, Luke Dinsmore, Annandale, Peter Hanrahan from Toker, Ian Tibby from Toker, Andrew McKenna and Phoenix, Donald Levan in his track, and Orna Hare bringing up completing the field.
So that's 46 through the first 300.
Donald Levan obviously taking inspiration from Niamh Carney in the previous race, pushing it out now and establishing a quite a significant gap very, very early.
But the chasing group, they're just dawdling along at around about 64 through that first 400. We've got somebody pushing ahead there.
Donald Levan pushing out there now. McElhenney and Coscoran tucked in there nicely.
It's a great opportunity, the heats, to go through the gears, play with the gears, be ready to roll for tomorrow's final.
Darren McElhinney in second place there.
So Andrew Crosby leads the second bunch with Neil Mccartney.
Neil Mccartney, actually, sorry. Neil Mccartney. He's down. I'm getting my colours mixed up there. So yeah, the van still pushing on ahead.
That's 2:10 for the chasing group through 800.
Neil Mccartney in second. Coscoran in third. McElhinney moving up or holding into fourth place there.
So first four are running through here, and we've got the three fastest losers.
Got 10 people chasing the top 4 places here at the moment, and yeah, there's going to be a lot happening in this final lap.
Donald Devan's lead has been whittled down, but it's still about 15 metres. Rowan Casey in second place. Coscoran and McElhinney looking at each other.
Yeah, at the moment it looks like there's 5 people going for 4 places,
So William Casey
with Luke Dinsmore chasing them down.
the chasing bunch as it is now, as they come down to 300 metres to go. The field well and truly stretched out. First four
And Donald is
So
past.
Five,
Coscoran went through on the inside there.
and
Rowan Casey
then
pushing on.
It looks like there was 4. 4 of them are clear now.
Darren McElhinney took a look there. Looking again. Joe One from Down, he's moving into 5th place here now. Rolling back the years.
Wow. Yeah, these first 4 look very safe. Roy Casey was going to come in ahead, and we'll have to wait and see how the fastest loser places go.
So we're in time there for 3:55:58.
Darren McElhinney and Andrew Coscoran safely through there. They'll be job done. Rowan Casey throwing down a marker there. PB of 3:50 before this now, so he's announcing himself as a man of intent. And Joe Warren, I think, was in 5th place to get to secure the slot. So as I said, Joe rolling back to years. Joe's been around for quite a number of years, so he'll be very pleased with himself getting a national final one more time.
It's very businesslike for those top 4. No sweat. Not too much lactate either.
So can we just remind all athletes, spectators, just to keep yourselves as socially distant as possible. You're not competing.
And Shane Bracken, of course, in 2nd place there, moving through nicely. Apologies to Shane, we almost neglected to mention his name there as we focused on the McElhinney and
Faster guys.
Coscoran behind looking at each other.
Should we just pop over to this pole vault? Just trying to work out what height it's at. Here we go. Good attack. Good drive. But just not quite there. There's a bit more work needed in those arms to drive up over that bar. There's lots of ways to
Richard Owens, London. Brian Kelly, St. Adams. Michael Farr, West Waterbury.
there's many ways to get that extra height, sometimes from arm strength, upper body strength, or increasing the speed. Sometimes going further up the pole, sometimes coming further down the pole.
Ciara Hickey.
Good attack there.
Unlucky.
Yeah, she rode that pole nicely, and there's a timing just when to pop the legs up.
She had the height bash here. I think we'll see her. 3:35 she's going for that. I think we'll see that.
3 athletes left in competition. First time for clearance, within a prize. And 2 more attempts left for Claudia Walsh and Ciara Hickey. 3:35.
Here we see.
A lush thrower, executing a lovely rhythm there,
Measure.
and releasing it. And I think the electronic scoreboard is just going to pop up the distance for that Lusk athlete. I didn't catch her number there, so apologies. 31.75. Importantly, it was a controlled throw and released in control. Okay, 3.35 at the pole vault here.
Claudia Walsh from Abbey Striders. Oh,
Wow.
well done, Claudia.
Tantalising. But she got over.
Claudia, one of the top. She's got a
Walsh at 3 metres 35. Second attempt there from Ciara Hickey.
Claudia Walsh, of course, has jumped 3:35 already this year. Ciara Hickey, I understand as well, her second attempt. Ciara has also jumped 3:35 this year, so pushing in for it. Oh, unlucky. Ciara takes it down.
Ciara, so one more attempt.
Taking it down to second attempt, so one more.
From Blarney and Iniscara. That sounds like Kerry.
Deepest, darkest Cork, Bashir. With apologies all Corkonians. Blarney is a strong club, of course. Men's 1,500 metres off now.
That second heat just getting underway now as they go down the back straight.
So 11 athletes in action here.
John Travers tucked in at the back, keeping himself out of trouble there, just lending.
Got the two fastest losers.
And just a reminder that it's the first 4 and the 3 fastest losers. And the first of the fastest losers was Joe Warren from Heat 1, who ran 3:58.35. And Luke Dinsmore, he was the third fastest loser at the moment with 3:59.79 from Heat 1. And Neil McCartney, he ran 3:59.08 in Heat 1 also.
You're right, Butcher. I was premature there. I awarded Joe Warren a place in the final, but four automatics and fast lasers.
Okay, we've got John Travers, who's done a 3:37 this year, who's probably going to be the favourite to qualify. And then we've got Kevin Kelly from St. Caucus.
Kevin Kelly, who ran on 3:40 recently in America. Kevin, a former silver medalist in this race a couple of years ago.
Fastest man so far this year in this race.
Kev Kelly from St. Caucus, a small club out in Kildare there, who punch way above their weight, producing Paul Robinson, of course, over 1,500 metres, not to mention Ifo Quill, who's also qualified for the European Under-23s this year, and David Campbell, of course, back today, who ran in the World Championships back in 2007 in the 800 metres.
9 athletes now.
That's some credentials from that club. It's Ben Smith leading at the moment.
Tactical battle underway here now. That kind of race, so we just make sure we're ready to move over the last 300 underway here.
John Travers tucked in at the back there, staying out of trouble, just watching. Brian Kelly moving in with Kevin Kelly. There are two Kellys in third and fourth place, keeping a close order on things.
It's not particularly fast though at 4:05, but I have no doubt it will speed up. That last lap, they finished off with a 58 last lap, probably a 2:02 final 800. So this will probably be very similar as it starts to wind up after 2.5 minutes of running. So those of you that do your kilometre splits, and there'll be a few of the listeners that do kilometre splits, they're just going through 1 kilometre now in about 2:42 for the first kilometre, but they will get faster. Okay, we can see John Travers just slowly moving up as they approach the bell.
Kev Kelly leads through. Brian Kelly moved into third place.
Challenging for 4 automatic places. Michael Power, West Waterford.
Michael Power contesting with Kev Kelly. Brian Kelly in third place. John Travers stuck into fourth. Small bit of light to fifth. Richie Owens in 6th place, Clonliffe, working hard to stay in touch.
Now as they go around the bottom turn, 4 automatic 2 and 6 is which.
Cape Kelly pushes out now.
Now
He's working
they're
for home
rolling.
now. Ears
Now
back.
they're rolling.
John Travers on the outside, Brian Kelly on the inside, coming around power.
They're eyeballing each other. Who's it going to be? Who's it not going to be? Well, there's 4 comfortably through there. And 3:53.94 for the winner.
Kevin Kelly will be very happy with that now. He ran through very well there. I think it was Sean Dennehy in second there.
Yeah, the top 4. The cream rose to the top there.
Yeah. Travers, Kelly, Donahue. And Brian Kelly. Brian Kelly from St Albans, who a number of years ago won medal at his championships in the 800 metres. So he'll be pleased with his day's work.
Well, with a best of 3:49, he'd have been it'd be well within his grasp what's time, but that'd be certainly on an even paced race. That was a much faster finish. His PB performances. So, just a reminder that Rowan Cracey won the first heat from Shane Bracken, Andrew Cosgren and Darrell McElhinney. They were the top 4 and the automatic qualifiers from heat 1. And 3:59 was the third fastest loser going from the first heat. We await the results of heat 2. So heat 3 hits the track and gets ready to roll. I'm seeing 1 or 2 familiar faces. Yeah, the lineup for heat 3 is Cathal Doyle from Clonliffe, Charlie O'Donovan from Leavale, Dan Mooney from Letterkenny, Gary Campbell, Dunleer, Conor Maguire, Monaghan. As we just switch over to this pole vault. No, I thought that was a clearance, but it didn't quite happen. Unfortunate. It looked like it was about to happen. Anyway, getting back to this 1500 metre field, Jack Muskelly from Crockwell, Matthew Murnane from Leavale, James Hamilton from Ballymena, Nias Kettle from St Albans, Dare O'Sullivan from Carrick. Thank you. And Owen Everard from Kilkenny City Harriers. And
another interesting race. Cathal Doyle has been running very well. Charlie Donovan is a fine runner. Dan Mooney, who formerly ran the European Indoors and Commonwealth Games. Gary Campbell from Dunleer, yeah. Owen Everett, of course. There's a strong tradition of being involved in this championship many times. So, looking to roll back to years once more.
James Hamilton, Ballymena runners, Nisha Kettle, St Albans, Darrell O'Sullivan, Carrick and Owen Everett for Kenny City.
And here, as we focus back onto the women's pole vault.
3 metres 45.
Owen Bryce from Leavale, yes. Owen will be fancy to be involved in the shake-up. Oh!
Just caught that on the way down, I think.
It looked like she was over it and took it down with her arms.
So 11 underway here now into the final heat. First 4 automatic 2 and then the 3 fastest losers.
Okay, you've got the third and final heat of the men's 1500 here, with the first 4 and 3 fastest losers to qualify. I've actually got through everybody that was in this race, but we'll get there in the end.
There are some advantages of being in the third heat. You know what you have to do. Based on the times in the first 2 races, 3:53 and 3:55.
Gary Campbell pushing it out there.
3:45.
Having watched the previous races, he's pushing it out in an attempt to keep the pace high and ensure as many as possible get through here.
62 through that.
Team stretched out, single file at the moment. Carl Doyle tucked in third place. A bit of bunching now to slow down a bit. Coming together, concertina effect there, and a little bit of pushing in as we approach the 200 metre mark. Owen Everett moving up on the outside there. Gary Campbell, Conor Maguire, Charlie Donovan, Cathal Doyle, Danny Mooney on the inside, Owen Everett just on the outside. Yeah, this is after a brief moment when the field kind of moved together again. They're stretching out once more time and light appearing towards the end. Gary Campbell continues to push it out.
Gary Campbell.
Okay.
Is that the Cropole athlete there?
Jack Miskell, it looks like, has gone to take closer order.
2:41 through the first 1,000 metres. Just the second up on previous heat.
So Jack Miskell pushing it out now.
There goes Owen. To the front, just flowing along.
Carl Doyle and Charlie Donovan moving in.
People chasing 4 automatic places at home. And Owen is stretching the field.
Charlie and Cathal look strong. Danny Mooney in third place, on fourth place. The 4 automatic places at the moment. Light appearing to 5th and 6th. Jack Miskell working very hard to stay in that 5th spot.
Looking good as the fastest at the moment.
Charlie pushes it out. Carl Doyle on his shoulder.
Still back with it. He's got momentum. He could be boxing somebody in.
Carl Doyle looking around.
So in Everett who's boxed him.
Charlie looks comfortable. They're looking at each other now. Charlie wins. Danny in third place and Owen Everett fourth. Carl Doyle in second place. So
I think that about 56 Miskella.
So it will be very close for the 3 fastest losers.
It will be a very close call for the fastest losers. So it looks like they're coming from heat 2. With Michael Power with 3:54 and Richard Owens with 3:58. In heat 1 it would have been Joe Warren with 3:58.35. So I think at least one from heat 3. But it might only be one. Yes, it might only be one from heat 3 that makes it to the final, but we'll update you when we get the results.
back now with the women's pole vault. A failure there. Claudia Walsh.
With competitors for the women's 800 metres, could you please report to the call room? Women 800 metres runners, please, to the call room.
So the bar's at 3:55 in the pole vault now. And I think they're setting up the track for the 400 metre hurdles heats for women. As we just check on the field in the pole vault.
Claudia Walsh just failed at 3:55 there. I think Claudia is at this stage looks like she's the winner. Ciara Hickey and Una Bryce, the minor medals there, but
Una Bryce has got second and Ciara Hickey's got third by the looks of it.
Claudia Walsh, Abby Striders here, getting over her second clearance at 3:45, which ultimately sealed her the gold. So she's probably deciding now, chatting, will she have another go at 3:55? National champion, she'll be pleased with that. So regain her strength and have another go at it. Bit of a pause on the action of the track now. The hurdles are being laid out for the 400 hurdles heats for the women's 400 meter hurdles. Down at the pole vault, Claudia Walsh readies herself for her second attempt at 3:55. Claudia will be very pleased with herself now, national champion. So in a lovely position whereby the title is won and she's just looking to gild the lily now. The camera's not showing it, but we'll carry on with Claudia as she prepares herself. She's starting on the runway now. Plenty of speed. Push it down. Up well. Unfortunately, she failed at that one, but she looks quite pleased with herself. She'll probably have another attempt. Just chatting to the officials now. Yeah, she'll go again, I think.
Two heats in the women's 400 metre hurdles. The first three in each heat of the two fastest times through the final. The first heat, lane 3, Mcmahon, Galigan and Antrim. Lane 4, Eva Sheehy, Harrier.
So getting ready now for the women's hurdles. Two heats, so the first three and the next two fastest through to the final. So Erin McMahon in lane 1, Aoife Sheehy from Galway City Harriers in lane 2, Karen Dunn Bohermeen in lane 3. Erin McMahon in lane 3, Aoife Sheehy in lane 4, Karen Dunn in lane 5, Kelly McGrory in lane 6, Laura McDonald in 7, and Zofia Terzic in 8. Kelly McGrory here, former champion, I think, in this category, and she'll be fancy to come through here. Karen Dunn Bohermeen, probably the second seed here. As we wait for the heat to start, we go back to the pole vault. We can see Claudia Walsh on her last chance. Our national champion, 355, going on her third attempt. She raises herself, pushing it hard. Let's see, and unfortunately, unlucky. But she's well satisfied with her day's work. National title in the bag. She'll take that back to Happy Strider. She's happy. Well done. Fine jumping now. Okay. And they're on their marks. The 4 hurdles. Kelly McGrory in lane 6. Karen Dunn and Bohermeen inside. Side position.
So first 2 heats.
Kelly McGrory immediately moves out, takes the first one, establishing her dominance already. Karen Dunn second. Aoife Sheehy moving up. Aoife Sheehy from Galway City Harris has passed Karen Dunn. Kelly McGrory out well in front. Kelly pushes on. Karen Dunn now pushing back. Coming back. Karen Dunn has just risen in second place there. Passing out Aoife Sheehy. Kelly pushing down. In control. Karen Dunn in second. And Aoife Sheehy, good GCH, in third place. That was clear cut and emphatic. Erin McMahon coming in fourth place. So she'll be taking an anxious eye at the clock to see if she can secure one of those fastest loser places.
We're just going back to those lactate legs again, aren't they? Lactate all over. How do you like your lactate?
400 metre hurdles is a tough
400
event.
flat or 400 hurdles. Either way, it's going to be a life full of lactate. Here we are on the repeat here.
Kelly in control, complete control really, as she comes down.
Flowing with ease.
Karen Dunn pushing on nicely. She'll be content. She'll take her spot tomorrow.
And Chicrono from AC, they're a successful club, aren't they?
At Tyrconnell, yeah, a lot of good work there. Eamon Harvey would have done a lot of work there over the years. As we zone in on the 3 medalists from the women's pole vault over there. Una Bryce, Lee Vale, Claudia Walsh, Abby Striders and Ciara Hickey. Good jumping from the girls today. No, but you're getting back to your previous point, yeah, Tyrconnell are a strong club in Donegal. Donegal a very strong county for athletics, but Tyrconnell would have over the years produced a lot of good athletes. Eamon Harvey, I'm biased, Eamon's a friend of mine, but Eamon would have produced a lot of athletes in a variety of distances. So, and events as well.
Yeah, I have noticed the club performing well at the national championships. The legacy. So the pole vault result, as you've just mentioned, Pat, it was Claudia Walsh from Abbey Striders who won with a best of 3:45. In second place was Una Bryce from Leavale, 3:35, and in third place Ciara Hickey from Blarney in Escara, 3:35 as well.
So winning on the count back, getting the silver medal on the count back there.
Tactics.
Ava Rochford from Nina was in fourth place, and Lisa Houlihan from Waterford. Lisa, as I mentioned earlier on, one of the Houlihan clan, a lot of Houlihan's pole vaulting in West Waterford. So Una Samuels from Leavelle, sixth, running down through it there.
Wow.
Jodie McGrath from Nina Olympic was seventh.
I dare say there'll be lots of those people climbing up and down, climbing ropes through the winter, because it's a lot easier than going out into the weather in the winter months. Unless you're at Athlone, of course. or the Dublin Indoor Centre.
They're well set up down in Nina as well, Basher. Nice indoor section there.
I do apologise. Yeah, as they are up in Ulster University, they've got an indoor pole vault there that Jim Alexander does a great job of, and I think it's Graham Moffat as well. But as does, you know, as you were saying earlier, Seamus Flynn at Lusk, and obviously Seamus has helped me get organised with the poles over at Athlone, as has Shane Aston now down in
Carlow.
Carlow, of course. I was going to say Trim for a second there, but Carlow it is.
Well, Carlow via Trim.
So lane 3, Eva Mackey from Kenore Harriers. Lane 4, Deirdre Murray and Fianna. Lane 5, Laura Frey, Galigan Valley. Lane 6, Ella Dwan, ASAC. And lane 7, Sean Lane, Mullingar Harriers.
His first three and the two fastest losers from Heat 1. We had a winner of 62, Calais McGrory, and the three fastest losers at the moment have done 64, 68 and 70. Sorry, the first three fastest, yeah, 64, 68 and 70, and it's the two fastest losers. Heat 2, as we might have just heard, we've got Quiva Mackay, Deirdre Murray, Laura Frey, Ella Dunn, Dwayne, sorry, and Shauna Layden.
Those of you who would be a bit longer in the tooth, just to let you know, Shauna Layden there from Mullingar, she is a granddaughter of from Nina of Sean Naughton. So good to see the genes carrying on there. Sean's whole family were involved in athletics, and his daughter Patricia, of course, many years ago was national senior champion at 100 hurdles and ran in the European juniors and World Juniors, if I recall. So Sean are now carrying on the family tradition in hurdling, albeit in 400 metres rather than the 100 metre hurdles.
Well, it's a great event, it's an entertaining event, and it's often a poster event, as we often see the hurdlers, the pole vaulters, the steeplechasers on the posters of advertising athletics. So they are the main events, and I think the strongest events in Ireland, we know they're very strong in the walks.
Quite strong, right? Laura, looking at this, Deirdre Murray here from the females, probably the top seed in terms of going through. We'll be looking at Laura Frey pushing an Ella Dwan from Naas, would be then probably contesting second spot. The aforementioned Sean is significantly younger than some of these. She's still a junior athlete, I believe.
So a good start there by Deirdre Murray, the fast athlete in the second heat. She just closes down that gap very quickly, and Laura Frey in front of her. So Deirdre Murray's gone off very fast here on repeat.
Deirdre Murray pushing on really quickly. Laura Frey in second place.
The three athletes on the outside of her. So Deirdre Murray with a big lead here. Who's in second place? I think it's Laura Frey in second place from Galigan Valley. On the inside, Eva Mackey looks to be in third place. So Deirdre Murray.
Deirdre Murray imposing her will in this race. She's emphatically ahead.
150 metres to go. So Deirdre Murray will probably 30-metre lead over the rest of the field. She can stroll up this home straight.
It is a close call for second place, though. They're all in it.
Quiva Mackey's pushing ahead. Looks like she's in.
It's her last hurdle. The athlete's coming over the second last hurdle. And it's Laura Frey.
Laura Frey and Quiva Mackey jumping together. Laura Frey looks to be pushing ahead.
Takes this one in 1:02.
Quiva Mackey's.
Toughing it out to the line. And it is Laura Frey.
Laura Frey. Quiva Mackey third. Quiva Mackey had a little luck as she came over the last hurdle. I think she was quite fatigued there. But no doubting that Deirdre Murray just pushed ahead and that was quite emphatic, Basher.
Yeah, it was a bit of a masterclass, really, wasn't it? So sometimes these heats allow you to, you know, when you've got that quality, just to flow and get things right, because often you don't have the stress that you're going to have in the final, and especially when you've only got one lane to yourself, you can really just let it flow. As we saw there, so We're going to see that again, hopefully. Here we go. So
Deirdre Murray in total control as she came down, stepping over the last one.
in fairness, she was looking a bit heavy-legged over the last one, I think. But
Did the second place change between the last hurdle and the line? I think it
Laura
did.
Frey just getting ahead of Quiver Mackay from Dunno. Okay, I think they're going to spend a couple of minutes just clearing up these hurdles. Although in fairness, they've soon cleared most of them. There's only about 15 or 20 left already. That's an efficient team of grounds people we've got there. So I can hear plenty of noise on the track. It sounds like the 800 metre runners are just getting their feet together. They're due off at 8:30. 3 heats for women and 3 heats for men. Well, the first heat of the women's 800 metres, which is due off in about 4 minutes' time, maybe even 3, is the fastest Irish athlete of the year, Georgia Hartigan, whose father was an Irish steeplechase international, and whose mother, Bev Nicholson, was an international 800 metre runner as well. So she's coming from good genes, is Georgia Hartigan, as is Katie Kirk, who will be in lane 2.
Number 6, Mary Horton Crusaders. 183, Emma Moore, Galway City. 21, Zoe Carruthers, City of Lisburn. Number 19, Angela McShane, City of Derry. 12, Sinead Gaffney, Cockwell. And 229, Kate Nurse, UCD. First 3 and the fastest loser for 2 races qualified for the final. The women's pole vault, joining us in the rostrum. In 3rd place, Ciara Hickey of Blarney in Iscara. In 2nd place, Una Bryce from Leigh. And the winner, Claudia Walsh of Abbey Striders. So Coda's performance was 3:45.
That looks like our podium pole vaulters there.
So interesting race across by clear. Georgie Hartigan in lane 1. That's the fastest Irish runner over the distance this year, 2:00:20. In lane 2, Katie Kirk, 2:02:60.
We're back in business here. Georgie Hartigan in lane 1, Katie Kirk in lane 2, Mary Horgan lane 3, Emma Moore lane 4, Zoe Critters lane 5, Angeline McShane, Shane Gaffey and Kate Nurse. Georgie Hartigan just outside 2 minutes there, recently coming second to Alex Bell in Belfast.
So down the back straight now, Georgie Hartigan stretching it out from Katie Kirk.
That's Georgie Hartigan slowing down quite fast there. I don't think she realised how fast she'd set off there.
Then one fastest loser, so there's not room for mistakes here.
Katie Kirk settled in second place.
4 athletes now.
30 seconds at 200 metres.
As they go around the bottom front.
Now, will the second 200 be the slowest or the third 200 be the slowest? What do you think? The field is stretched out quite nicely, so it's the first 3 and just the fastest person out of the 3 heats.
Georgie pushing through at the bell. 105. Katie in second. Mary Horgan tucked in nicely.
That's Mary Horgan from Crusaders.
Georgie getting out fast, pushing it on nicely, holding it. Katie in second up. Katie's taking no chances. Basher, she got out, she pushed it on.
Yeah, she's dominating it at the moment and controlling it. 139 at 600. So it looks like she'll be about a 208, 210 win.
Mary's not second, settling for second. She's on her shoulder, she's pushing her.
Yeah, and Katie Kirk is looking safe at the moment for third. So they come down the home straight.
Yeah.
And Georgie checks on her left and she checks on her right, and it looks safe. Mary does likewise. And there she goes in 211 and 212 for third place, Katie Kirk. As they all finish that heat.
Emma Moore in fourth place. She'll be sitting anxiously waiting now, watching the clock. Georgie got out there, Basher. She basically got out and just ran, get the job done.
Yeah,
for tomorrow.
She's looking good, flowing well, and it should be another great event. You know, the 1500 women looks like an incredible event tomorrow, and I dare say this 800 will be likewise.
Absolutely. Strong running. Georgie looked very, very strong in Belfast, just outside the 2 minutes.
Yeah, that was, and I dare say if she'd have just backed up a bit from the winner that day, Alex Bell, she might have got that magic time. But it'll come, I'm sure.
So job done. Back in now and wait for tomorrow.
Heat 2 women just getting ready to roll out, and again it's a great field with 201 runners, Louise Shanahan and Claire Mooney heading the field here. Comfortably ahead of Maeve O'Neill, Amy Hamill, Aoife Delagi, Sophie Jackman, Aoife Kaur and Niamh Carr in this field of 8.
Great to see Amy Hamill here again, Glasgow Harriers. Some of you will remember a number of years ago, Amy was the Irish Schools senior 800 metre champion. So a student at DCU, if I recall correctly, so nice to see her back in a national champs once more.
And it's all to go for this 3 automatic qualifiers in this heat, so I think between
Louise Shanahan and Claire Mooney are probably the 2 top seeds here. Louise, of course, in tremendous form this season, along with Georgie Hartigan herself and Nadia, all in the frame really for Olympic qualification. So we shall see. Claire Mooney previously the best of 2:01.6. She's been running 2:02 high this season, so Interesting to see how she'll go here.
Yeah, it will. It will, and invariably they get additional Olympic qualification points for winning the national championships. So certainly somebody like Georgia Hartigan and Louise Shanahan, Claire Mooney, they've got it all to run for, to just clock up some higher ranking points and head up that field. I think there are 45 athletes going to the Olympics for the middle distance events. But I stand to be corrected on that. I've not got the list in front of me.
Well, we're certainly looking at our biggest team in quite some time. And that's across the board, all the events really. Could possibly actually have over 100 athletes in the end, which will probably be the biggest team Ireland ever sent.
Wow, that is massive.
Built out, of course, by the women's hockey team who had qualified in such spectacular fashion a year or two ago. And of course the Sevens, who were a very pleasant surprise last week.
Yes. Did they beat France?
Beat France in the final there. Aaron Sexton, who 2 years ago was in the European Junior 200 metre final, went professional with Ulster and now at the Olympics. Okay, here we go. Louise Shanahan and Claire Mooney, the top seeds in this particular heat.
So I have no doubt the two that will be looking the best after about 600 metres will be Louise Shanahan and Claire Mooney, numbers 13 and number 14 in this race, in lanes 1 and 2. Livale and Nace. Maeve O'Neill just easing, or she's been held on the outside by the first two. That was about 31 seconds through 200, so a little slower than the first heat. And already there is 6 of them breaking away.
Maeve, followed by Claire. Louise tucked in on the inside. Amy Hamill in 4th place. Maeve takes the bell. 105. Claire in 2nd place. Louise slightly boxed in, but she'll extricate herself. Amy Hamill still holding that 4th place.
It's like a game of chess. A little gentle breeze in the face then. Who's going to go first? Can't be bothered. Who's going to go first? Still can't be bothered. Can anybody be bothered? Come on, let's get going.
Maeve O'Neill trucking along.
And now the race for the line begins.
Maeve pushed on. Claire Mooney strikes on the outside.
On the outside.
Maeve holding on. Claire going on the outside around the bend, pushing hard now. Maeve fought her off. The Claire pushes on now. Louise moving on the outside. Maeve had a sneaky little look there, as does
these final checks.
Louise. Claire crosses in more nicely.
A little bit over comfortable this.
Claire wins. Louise 2nd. Leave a 3rd. Maeve O'Neill 3rd.
And in terms of 1st and 2nd laps, that was fairly even with a 65 and a 66.
Claire pushed on there, took no chance in the end. Louise coming from behind had the benefit really of seeing what was happening in front of her, so I had a look.
Yeah.
Had a look at Maeve, looked ahead.
And that was a 31 final 200 and looking very controlled and comfortable. But for somebody who's done 201, I think they should be comfortable with a 31.
Well, Claire Mooney would have come through as a junior athlete. She would have run a lot of 200 metres and 400 metres. An athlete from Nace there, so she's well used to running quite quickly over that kind of distances. So well used 2-4 and 8. She's an experienced athlete at this stage,
without a doubt. And as we see these heats just roll out, it just makes the finals look even more mouth-watering. Who's your money on? Well, that's for you guys at home to discuss. I'm not a gambling man. What about you, Pat?
Well, look, I think that Georgie Hartigan, I think Louise Shanahan, I think Claire Mooney will fancy her chances. So yeah, I think that the fact that Nadia is not in the race in the 800 metres makes it makes it a little bit closer. But in this particular race now, we also have to see Jenna Bromwell's been running really, really well. Shifra Cleary Butner, of course, Irish record holder in the indoors earlier on this year. These girls are all pushing hard for it. And in fairness, Basher, I mean, this is a year when Irish 800 metre running for women certainly moved on to very, very new territory. We've had a significant number of people running sub 202, 201s.
So our total time meet the women's 800 metres. Sarah Clark, Martina, Jenna Brown, Emerald.
And we've just had one of our superb officials join us momentarily. How's it going out in the field, Colette? Okay, we're just seeing some of the field get warmed up for this 800 metres.
Looking at Kira Deely there on the screen, KCH.
Anyway, as they just do their final strides to get ready to roll.
Jenna Bromwell there beside her, Shifra Cleary Butner. Jenna Bromwell, also another athlete who's stepped forward greatly this season. Working with Pat Hogan in Ennis Track at the moment. Kira Jenna from Emerald in Limerick, but making big strides, running PB week in, week out. So I think 3 to 4 PBs in recent weeks I've noticed from her. Shifra just inside her. Shifra, vast experienced campaigner. Shifra who made European finals at youth, junior and under 23. Still in the mix for the Olympics, so she'll be looking to score some points this weekend. The aforementioned Keir Daly, I think she was second last week in the under 23, so she's in good form at the moment. Under marks, getting ready. And they're away.
So from the inside, Clark, Donald, Philly, Gardner, Kenny, Dealey,
Jenna Bromwell moving off strongly. Shifra on her shoulder, not yielding an inch. Kira Deely, I think, in third place. Settling down now after a strong quick start. Probably a little bit slower than the previous one.
So it's exactly around the turn now, together.
Jenna Bromwell holding the inside line. Second best, Shifra sitting on her shoulder, watching it. Field bunching up now because they approach the bell. Annette Quaid in third place, the veteran from Leeville.
Again, like the other heats they've gone through, we're around about 65, and then they tend to slow around this bend.
Still Bromwell, Cleary Button on her shoulder. Annette Quaid pushing into third, rolling back the ears again. Kira Deely working very, very hard to stay in touch in fourth place.
3 break clear, but only marginally, but now it's suddenly 5 metres.
I think the 3 qualifiers look like they're away. Shifra having a look to see what's happening. Jenna pushes on his chest from the very start. Shifra has a look.
Yeah.
Annette Quaid in
3
third
to
place.
5 metres suddenly becomes 10 metres.
Kira Deely battles on in fourth place. Sarah Clark and Kira Deely crossing the line together, but that was emphatic. No, Jenna Brown in first place, so Shifra and Annette Quaid still in the automatic places. Just as the rain starts to fall here, so the girls will be looking to get off the track, stay warm and dry, and advance for tomorrow's final. Jenna Bramble looks nice and relaxed. Happy with the Lee's work. Just 2:11. People break for cover here as the rain starts to come down quite heavily. Okay. Slight lull in proceedings here now as we move in advance of the next round of men's 8.
Welcome to Ireland and Irish weather.
I've had a good run all evening, but it was quite warm earlier on and a bit windy, but now the temperature has dropped and the rain has started.
And we're still now at the hugging, we're out of the hugging situation, so we can't keep warm that way, so keep your distance. Find another coat. I forgot my coat today and I'm feeling the pinch at the moment. Okay, we've just had a bit of a downpour, as you might have heard, and we're just, oh my goodness, would you look at that? Somebody well covered there. That's a quality umbrella, that is, but needs to be done.
So we've had a good day's athletics so far. Basher, the first titles handed out in the women's hammer and in the women's pole vault. We've seen some intriguing heats in the 800 metres for the women. Some good 1500 metres lined up for tomorrow. Women's 8, I think all the main protagonists came through quite easily, unscathed. Yeah, kept their powder dry for tomorrow. Promises to be a thrilling race.
And it looks like the first 3 from Heat 1 have qualified. That's Katie Kirk, Mary Horgan, Georgie Hartigan. In Heat 2, we had the first 4 qualify there. That was Claire Mooney, Louise Shanahan, Maeve O'Neill, and Niamh Carr.
Niamh Carr got the small queue with the fastest loser.
Yeah. And there was only one fastest loser, so it's going to be the top 3 from Heat 3 as well, which would be Jenna Bromwell, Seifra Clara Butner, and Annette Quaid.
Keir Daly missing out on that occasion,
unfortunately.
But Keir, as I said, she can medal at under 23s last weekend, so she'll be happy with that.
We await the men for their 800 metres heats.
The women's 1500 metres to final tomorrow. Sarah Healy winning her heat earlier on from Ellie Hartnett. Roisin Flanagan in third spot. Carla Sweeney, Denise Toner, Siobhan Whelan from Clonmel. Robin McKee and Rebecca Roster got Robin from Annerdale and Rebecca from Lockview. They were they got the small queues in that particular race. So the second heat then, Niamh Carney, as we saw, took it out from the very start emphatically and won with quite a distance. Took no prisoners. Michelle Finn in second, Rose Finnegan third, Bruna Kearns in fourth place there. Nadia qualifying easily, Maisie O'Sullivan and Greta from Clonliffe getting the final slot in the final. Greta, of course, a very strong performer in the Paralympic events as well at the moment. Okay, the men come out in the track for the the first heat of the 800 metres. Looking down to this, we've got Justin Bloomer from Mid-Ulster, we've got Cian Kelly from St Albans, one of the Kelly clan, ubiquitous Kelly clan from St Albans. We've got Jonathan Simons from Kildare, John, who's been second in this race twice in the past behind Mark English, Chris Pollock from Annandale, Luke McCann from UCD. Luke, who's had an absolutely stellar season in the 1500 metres, getting down to 3:36, running in the European indoors, looking to push on and have a go at the 800 metres. We've got Louis O'Loughlin from the North Harriers. Louis currently has one B standard for the European under-23s under his belt, looking for a second one this weekend. We have Mark Carmody from Unbrew, we have David Kelly from Toker, Fred O'Hare from Crusaders, and Dean Ryan from Newbridge, completing the list.
Three heats, will be the first three, the fastest time through the final tomorrow. So some cracking heats here. The first heat on the inside, one Justin Bloomer.
It'll be interesting to see Luke McCann here now, a PB at over 800 metres of 1:49. But I'd say that's up for revision this year, or this week even. Luke has an emphatic year over 1500 metres indoor, running European indoors, as I said, and then backing it up with phenomenal form on the track outdoors. John Fitzsimons here, 1:46.50 this year. John was out for 2 years with injury, but worked away behind the scenes with the guys in the institute. Great work there, and he's come back, qualified for the European indoors, and was unlucky to get through to the second round.
How much? 20?
67
centimetres.
Okay. Getting ready to go here. John Fitzsimons, as I said. 3 times running 1:46.5 this summer. Just holding off Harry Purcell in Belfast. Under away.
So top quality first heat here. There's a lot of looks to be going to be the leader with the
Top 3 and 1 fast loser through to the final.
inside there.
It's Luke McCann striding out. John Fitzsimons having a look round.
We can just get the check there. Dean Ryan looks like from Newbridge, but he's just pushed this on here. So going to make this a pretty fast pace.
Dean Ryan from Newbridge pushing it out hard.
He's just right midfield there. See Lewis O'Loughlin, McCann, John Fitzsimons just running 4th, 5th and 6th. But a nice, honest pace being set now up the whole straight. Mark Harmony from Unbrew, Lewis O'Loughlin on the outside,
55 seconds at the bell.
Good to see these boys really pushing it on to try and get themselves into this final part. 3 automatic races and 1 fastest qualifier.
Mark Harmony and Brew pushing out there. Luke McCann moving up into 3rd place now. John Fitzsimons still in 5th, but moving up ominously. Louis O'Loughlin in 2nd place, pushing out.
John Fitzsimons. Cian Kelly just trying to get himself onto the back group. 123, 124.
Luke McCann pushes on hard.
Shoots to the front here at 336. He shows he has a turn speed.
Louis O'Loughlin in 2nd place.
100 metres as well.
Mark Harmony still in 3rd place.
He's just going to try and
John Fitzsimons moving into has a look.
looks unbelievably comfortable here.
So Luke McCann pushing on very hard. Louis O'Loughlin 2nd, and John Fitzsimons moves into 3rd place.
First 3 here. It's going to be pretty fast first heat. Luke McCann. Lewis O'Loughlin, John Fitzsimons. 151.
So Luke McCann, Louis, and John Fitzsimons. That's the order. In 4th place, I think there it was young Cian Kelly in 4th place. If that was right, we'll check that again. Luke McCann certainly put the boot down there, Bashir.
I did. I must admit, I thought 1 or 2 of them were wasting a lot of energy on that back straight, argy-bargy in for places while John Fitzsimons just showed them a masterclass of even paced running, and he just eased around that bend when the time was right and comfortably qualified.
You see it here again. Luke Mccartney at this stage was pushing very hard, going well. Louis O'Loughlin in second place, working nicely. And John Fitzsimons eased himself into third place.
Yeah.
Ahead of
I think John Fitzsimons was just checking the positions with 120 to go, and he was in about 6th position. So he was very confident.
Those guys safe through to the final. The 1500 metres strength from McCann there certainly gave him a good boost. He got out and he made his mark. So yeah, interesting. We'll see tomorrow.
Tasty, tasty, tasty.
In a minute now we'll see the presentation of the men's hammer.
Men's hammer competition. In third place from Clonard Harriers, Simon Galigan, 59.74.
Simon Galigan from Clonliff.
Second place from Lifford, Sudan.
We're taking the bronze.
Brendan O'Donnell, 61.72.
Brendan O'Donnell second place. Brendan, who's last year's champion.
The winner, Sean Mockler of Mccartney Crew, with a best performance of 67.18.
Sean Mockler from Mccartney taking the gold, personal best. And I understand, Bashir, that's a European under 23 B standard.
That's correct. Yeah, he just missed the A standard, which was 68 metres.
So Sean Mockler, big PB, national title, and putting himself in the frame for the under 23s.
Brilliant performance, absolutely brilliant.
Brendan O'Donnell backing up last year's strong performance too.
Yeah, congratulations to athlete.
Well done,
and
guys.
coach. Great job.
Now we're back on the 800 metres. Looking at Kevin Mcgrath here in this. Kevin, who won a European Youth Olympic gold medal many years ago and followed up with fourth the following year in the European Youth 800 metres. Coming back nicely this year, so he's already gotten 2 standards for the European under 23s, so he'll be travelling to that competition. Standard in the bell.
And the fastest loser time is looking like 1:53.24 at this stage. And that's Keane Kelly.
Keane Kelly from St Albans, yeah, 1:53.24, so remember that. So Sean McCabe, Roland Surlis in lane 2. Roland, of course, another man with an absolutely stellar year, breakthrough. Running 1:46.5 on a couple of occasions. So McCabe in lane 1, Rose Surlis in lane 2, Mcgrath in lane 3, Jamie McCarthy, Philip McMahon, Rory Prendeville, Frank O'Brien, Aaron Shorten O'Toole's, Colin Smith Mullingar, and Luke Murphy, Rahini Shamrock. Aaron Shorten pushing out very quickly here. Colin Smith from Mullingar moving up into second place. Surlis in third. Marin and Kevin Mcgrath in fifth place. So Shorten still pushing out. Colin Smith second. Surlis in third place, Lux in control. Marin, Kevin Mcgrath. Colin Smith takes it up now, pushing by Shorten. Surlis moving to second place. Marin followed closely by Kevin Mcgrath. Colin Smith pushing out hard. Colin, who broke 150 for the first time this year. Sorlis Rangers up in second. Philip Martin in third place and Kevin Mcgrath in fourth place on the inside. Kevin Mcgrath comes through on the inside. Sorlis pushes through, Mcgrath second. Colin Smith hangs on, Martin in fourth place. So Sorlis, the class act there, Kevin Mcgrath in second place, and Colin Smith, you'll be very pleased with that performance. Colin Smith, who trains with Kevin Mcgrath and John Fitzsimons as part of the Midland group with Joe Ryan.
Yeah, the interesting splits there of it was 26, 29, 29 and 28. So it started fast and got slower apart from the winner, I think, who came to retreat there.
Aaron Shorten pushed out very hard at the start, opened a bit of gap, and that meant then it was going to be quick. Colin Smith ran a mature race there, came through second, did what he needed to get through to the final. I think we're going to have a look now. I think here they go again.
That's Colin Smith in the lead. Yeah.
Colin Smith second, leading out. Sorlis coming through at his ease. Kevin Mcgrath got through on the inside for third place, and then pushed through, taking no chances. So yeah, Sorlis, Mcgrath comfortable. Colin Smith nicely through there.
154.01 won that one. So I think the fastest loser is still coming from Heat 1, who was Keane Kelly, who ran 153.24. So with Heat 3, it's all to go for here. I dare say Aaron was chasing that 153 time to qualify.
Third heat now, this is another interesting one. We've got Dennis Coughlin from Finbars in lane 1, Killian Cowan from Raheny Shamrock in lane 2, Robert Kennedy Templemore in third place, Owen Quinn Mullingar in lane 4, Mark Milner from Tullamore sharing a lane with Owen Quinn. The boys won't mind that, they're training mates in that Midland group again. Marcus Shea from Drogheda, Robert Houston, another member of that Midland group from Kildare in lane 6, Joseph Fogarty and Neil Keane. So Killian Kirwan here, a 147.60 runner. Probably the man to come through in this one here. Interesting. Mark Milner from UCD Athletic Club, UCD Mark Milner man from Tullamore. He's also gotten the qualification standard for the European Under-23s. He's got 2 B standards under his belt. So Kevin Mcgrath, who we saw in the last race, 2 B standards. Mark Milner, 2 B standards, and Louis O'Loughlin with 1 B standard. So he'll be looking to cement his place and finish that. Owen Quinn from Mullingar Harriers is actually one of the B standard for the junior standard. So he'll be looking to get the second one there to cement his place. So Robert Houston just looking there, 149.80 PB from running from 155 or 6 to 149, a big step forward from him this season too.
So 4 athletes in this heat with PBs of sub 150, all done this year. 3 automatic spots.
Milner pushes out, he likes to go out fast.
Milner goes to the front. Quinn in second place, Dave Carroll on the inside. Robert Houston from Kildare AC takes the lead.
So Houston, Milner and Quinn.
It's a bit slower this one, Pat. Yeah, it's a slow start. Maybe it's going to be a fast finish.
Probably. Houston taking the lead from his training partner really last with Colin Walsh. So Houston, Milner, Quinn, Kerwin pushing through. 57 seconds at the bell. Houston continues to lead from Milner. Quinn in third place. Killian Kerwin looking very strong in fourth place. Mark Milner has a look to see what's happening and pushes on. Owen Quinn pushes by as well. Rob Houston in third place. Killian Kerwin starts to push it up now. Mark Milner pushing on, finishing strongly. Has another look there. Owen Quinn still in second place. Killian Kerwin in third. Rob Houston responds again. So Milner, Quinn and Killian Kerwin. Rob Houston in fourth place.
I do think that will be fast enough, you know. That will be our fastest loser.
So the action is going to be at 10:30 a.m. tomorrow. Day 2.
So from 10:30 tomorrow we begin on track for the 100 metres men's heats, then followed by the women's 100 metres heats, and then moving on to 5,000 metres women's final, women's state final, men's state.
And here we see again.
Here we're going again.
Mark Milner strong in control. Owen Quinn, the young junior, having a look around as well, pushing through in second place. He'll be pleased there. And Killian Kerwin just easing through in the last few metres. Rob Houston finishing game in fourth place. So yeah.
It was Robert Hewison, who I think will get that final or only qualifying fastest loser place.
To the next in the 12 of the women's discus, 12:30 long jump for women,
Yeah.
2 o'clock high jump men, 2 o'clock also discus men, and the men's
So here we go, the men's hammer now. Just coming up.
and then we continue with 15:05
As we watch Mockler.
5,000 metres, 400 hurdles finals, 100 metres finals, 800 metres finals.
Mockler throwing here now. Technically good release.
A little bit off balance there at the end, but
Sean will be very happy with his performance tonight. A national title, a new PB, B standard for the European under-23s. Sean, of course, he's off to Indiana University in September. He's got a scholarship over there, and he's also very happy. Last week he jumped in the under-23s. He had a few technical issues, so he bounced back really well and threw well. Coming into the circle now, we have Brendan McDonald, as I said earlier, last year's champion from Lifford Strabane, coached by his dad up there as part of that really promising group in Lifford Strabane. Brendan trying his second his silver medal performance there. Brendan earlier in the year actually had to withdraw from the European Throws Cup due to injury, due to illness, so that was a bit of a blow to him. His place was taken by Sean Mockler through there, but
at that stage
60 metres, 88. 6088.
60-88. Brendan, of course, has a PB of 64 metres. His best so far this year was 61.32.
He does, I can see through the shirt. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Okay, sorry. Take your time.
one of the rules here is that you must show your number when you compete. So on a cool night, you have to take your over top off. That was a bit of a fast, slow. I think maybe too much change in momentum there for my liking. Where's Dave Murphy when you need him?
Absolutely.
Dave Sweeney, for that matter.
39.57. 39.57.
Yeah, if he can get a more consistent build-up of his acceleration and momentum there, I think he'll go a lot further.
And here as we watch some of the other competitors in the event. Of course, the men's hammer this year, unfortunately, Ryan McCulloch from the States wasn't able to travel over due to restrictions. Well, Ryan McCulloch from the States and then Dempsey McGuigan from the UK. Dempsey threw a massive PB last week in the UK, so over 72 metres. I understand he's competing in Lucerne on Tuesday night, but he was unable to travel today due to the restrictions.
COVID complications make it a different world right now.
Absolutely.
Okay, a local athlete looking at the best.
And here's Simon here now, who'll be very pleased with his bronze medal, as with his coach George Ayres. He's an athlete who's worked hard in the lockdown and is certainly on the way up.
Nice, consistent build up there. Nothing ridiculously fast there, but in good control. Is that experience showing there, Pat?
56.24, that's a good throw there now.
5.6.24.
PB of around 56 metres, so he'll be pleased with that. He's throwing on form and winning the bronze medal.
Templemore. There he goes. Oh, lost that one. Just a little bit off balance, it makes all the difference. I'm just checking my rules. I think he does get to go again if his clock's not ran down.
Have a look at the clock. He didn't step outside it. When it wasn't working, he stepped off the gas, composed himself.
Yeah. Build again, get that momentum. Build it. Get the rhythm. And let it go. That's nicely done. Great recovery there. Good composure after a tricky start.
Meters 52.
52. 3052. Measure. Round 2, Robert. $51 meters 45. 51.45.
Here's the last throw now of the competition. Throw from the Fina.
Don't try it.
That was the last throw of the night. Watching that was, I think, Robert Higgins finishing off, and that's the end of it. So at the end of that throw, that's the last event of the day. So everything's finished up here now. Back for tomorrow. Men's 800 meters, women's 800 meters, men's 15, women's 15. Some big races time to look forward to there, Bashir.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I don't know what's going on. And of course there's a steeplechase as well. It kicks off at 10:30 with the men's 100 metre heats, 10 past 11 for the women's 100 metre heats, and then followed by the 5,000 metre for women, 3,000 metre steeplechase for women, 3,000 metre steeplechase for men, and then some junior 3,000s and the 5,000 men to finish off the first part of the afternoon. And it's all finals from 5 past 3 onwards and live RTE coverage.
Okay, so we'll finish up by just saying well done to our medalists, our winners tonight. Sean Mockler in the men's hammer, national title. Michaela Walsh coming back to form in the women's hammer and doing the business there.
And then the final one, we had Claudia Walsh in the women's pole vault, taking the honours tonight. So great performance by the guys, well done, and look forward to joining everyone here tomorrow.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Cheers, Pat.
Thanks, Basher. Good night, folks.
Good night.